fellas? Can you hear me?
What's up, bud?
What's going on? Sorry I'm late, man. It's only 2 minutes today.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, we about to get started. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. Chris, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Great. Let's rock and roll. Yo, what's up, fellas? How you doing?
What's up, brother? How was your weekend?
Right. Good one. It was eventful. I tried to. I actually really did try to stay offline for a while, but I wasn't able to.
Come on, now. I seen better than that now.
Right.
I wasn't able to accomplish that. I was threatened. I was threatened multiple times this
I seen
weekend.
that.
It was pretty eventful. But so how about yourself, man?
Chilled for most of the weekend. You know, trying to get some stuff squared away in the office, and you know, family time. Weekends, family time for me for the most part. So, I mean, if something arises with the, you know, with the dispatching or something, I try and address it. You know, I'll get it taken care of. But you know, the wife and kid are home on the weekends. They're number one. So.
Yeah, man. No, I hear you. I do the same thing. At least I try to. It's hard, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. It's good though, because on the weekends, I mean, there's no reason. Like, we don't need to be bashing this message 7 days a week. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm you know,
Right.
I'm in it throughout the weekend and stuff a little bit here and there, but mostly just for a hobby if I ain't got nothing going on. But like me and my daughter, we got the swimming pool. We went out to the swimming pool. My wife went to the beach with a bunch of girlfriends of hers on Saturday. So me and the daughter, we hung out in the pool. I left the phone in the house. I don't even bother with it. So.
You know, Shane, my nephew just put a pool in his backyard, and I'm afraid because I have smaller children. Do you have your children? Must be older, right?
Well, mine's older, and mine has the type. I mean, first off, it's, you know, it's 5 foot above. It's above ground. So, and then the ladder on it's got a device that it's like a roll up, so it slides down over the steps.
Right. I'll probably get these kids a pool because I hate going to the pool with them. It's
a petri dish, man. You go to the public pools.
Right.
Yeah, I got boys, man. They'll swim in mud. Yeah. Okay, so we got some more people coming in. Chris, my new co-host. What's going on, brother?
Not much. I'm just kicked back the whole weekend, really.
So, Michael stopped by your house. Is that correct?
Yeah, on Friday.
And besides getting drunk, what did you guys do?
No, Michael didn't drink. So, yeah, I mean, he came by. We talked a little bit. You know, we did the live show.
All over the floor.
Yeah. Spilled his Red Bull all over my floor. So.
Shit happens, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good.
Let's get into it. You know what? Let's try not to make this a 3-hour long show like we normally do. Since we're on every day.
Good luck with that.
No, seriously, let's try to cut it like in an hour or something. I want to get right into it, man. I want to talk about the atmosphere in the Facebook group. You know, I we we've always had a list of issues that we were going to address. We were just taking our time, making sure that we worked our way down the list properly and made sure that each issue got the proper attention. And of course, we started with brokers because, I mean, that's where we want to start, right? And
Right.
we're working our way down the list. Brokers, the FMCSA, DOT, factoring, insurance. All you know, we've pretty much covered all of that stuff, right? We've got issues with all of those issues, basically, all of those topics. So today, I started with the next issue, DAT and truck stop.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you would think I said something about the Bible that was wrong, or, you know, something crazy came out of my mouth. All I did was tell the truth. If you read any of the posts that I put in this group, all I did was tell the truth. And,
Yeah.
you know, I know you guys saw like so many people coming after me because I said something about DAT and truck stop, which is well deserved. Well deserved.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
And, you know, I want to get you guys' take on that. Chris, you know, we've been talking about this for months, and we've actually been talking about boycotting DAT and truck stop. And you got the floor, Chris. Go ahead.
So I wasn't right now. I would agree with boycotting DAT until we get more loads on ours. I wouldn't cut out truck stop yet, just because we still need something to get loads. And the reason why I say DAT is because they have more information on DAT that people use, but it's also falsified. That whole hot market, cold market map. Yeah, we already know that they're skewing the numbers for the average on the lanes. So what makes you think they're not skewing the numbers for that map as well?
Go ahead, Shane.
Well, I'll tell you firsthand that both of them, you can call in double brokering entities and they don't do a damn thing about them. They say they do,
Yeah,
but you'll see
yeah,
them,
that's the other thing
you'll
too.
see them with loads posted the next day. And I mean, that's, you know, I've even, they've asked me to prove it. I'll send in documentation after documentation and they come back and say, well, you know, or they just won't respond at all. And then you'll start seeing them posting on there again. And it's like, look, I mean, how much more documentation do you need? I sent you every rate con that was, you know, I sent you, you know, emails, you know, and it's, you talk to them and, you know, they pat you on the ass and send you on your way. They, you know, make it sound good, but they don't do nothing.
Exactly. We're going to get back on that topic, but first I want to welcome Mr. Jamie Anderson. You guys know him as the Texas Trucker, and my brother from another mother, Mr.
What's up, Jamie?
Anderson. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. Got bored, man. I ain't drove shit down. I'm tired, man. It's been raining, man, today. It's been nice. Cool.
Yeah, it's about to rain here in New York as well, man.
Oh, we got hit yesterday hard.
Yeah, we got hit all weekend pretty much. It rained. I believe it rained Saturday, all Saturday. Mr. Anderson, did you see the bile and hatred I received for having the audacity to question DAT's information in the Facebook group?
Yeah, I just seen that, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg Fuller straight said that that and truck stops data was trash. That's the reason why he built Sonar. Well, it turns out Sonar's trash too.
Hold on. Sonar costs $700 minimum per quarter. Sonar, I believe, actually, Sonar is $700 a month, bro. With the discounts, it comes to, I believe, about $1,500 every 3 months. So you're saying Sonar is garbage?
Well, that's what I'm. When I got him in Twitter space and before he blocked me, he come out and said that he come out and tried to say that they collect data from a bunch of different places in the industry. Well, they get it from TMS, they get it from fuel providers, they get it from factoring, they get it from carriers, they get it from brokers. So he goes down this whole list. Well, first it just started carriers and brokers. When I told him, I said, okay, I'm a carrier. I'm a small carrier. How is my data? How are you getting my data? He said, oh, we use TMS. We use, and he named TMS fuel providers, ELD, everything I got in my truck. You know what I mean? Well, I told him, I said, well, no. I asked you, I'm a small carrier. How do you have access to my data? How does my data, what I'm booking loads for, what I'm doing down there, how does it influence the data stream? Oh, well, and then I went back and I broke it down to him. I said, so you have no way of getting my rate cons or knowing the rates that I'm getting on these lanes out here in the spot market. I work strictly spot freight, hot spot, and you have no way of getting my data. What is the brokers reporting it to you? Well, yeah, we're getting it from some brokers. Some brokers reported. I said, and I'm like, will you trust the data they're giving you? Are they actually giving you the rate confirmations or their confirmations so you know it's true? Well, I said, okay, so I'm a carrier, and there's no way possible that you could get my data. He's like, well, yeah, we can use this and use this, use this. I'm like, I do not run a TMS, which most small carriers do not do. 6 trucks or under, it don't make no sense to pay because TMS is expensive. I've checked into it. I've looked into it when I was running 6 to 8 trucks. It's very expensive. Okay. So most small carriers, they keep it in a spreadsheet. They keep their information they're required to keep, and they keep a lot of it in their head. All right. So that debunked the TMS. Oh, okay. Well, and then I told him, I said, like say today, for example, I'm getting fuel today at the Loves. It's $4.79 a gallon in Georgia. Okay. $4.79 a gallon in Georgia. And I go right down the street and it's $3.89 at a Circle K truck stop. So, and that's what I told him. Even if I use a fuel provider and get a 40 or 50 cents a gallon discount, it don't compare to the savings that I get at the small mom and pops because they jack the price up so high so they think you're getting a discount and then they just take it back in the price of the fuel. So there's no way I pay cash for my fuel. So there's no way you can go off my fuel. I said, okay, you said, so now I've told you rate cons, TMS, my ELD, I use a small provider. It's not a Qualcomm. It's not an Omnitrax. That's part of a TMS. It's Keep Trucking Motive. It's not tracked. It's not connected to nothing but my truck and my phone and their server. He can't go in there and get that information. They don't have that information, and I do not put my rate cons in my documents on my ELD. I put them in emails and save them to my emails and send them to my factoring company. Okay, well, that was the next thing. Okay, well, factoring companies. I said, okay, well, how are you getting the information? Well, we got this and that. I said, well, what about, because I just started factoring. I've been in this some years. I've always run Net30 or QuickPay. how are you getting that information? If I quick pay a load, how are you getting the information on the load? You know, so I broke him down, man, and he ended up blocking me after that because I aired him out, man. I ripped him to shreds. You know, I sit there and told him I'm one carrier. You know, you're from inside sources. I've been told that the information that they get, and basically he said the information they get was from mega carriers and mega brokers. That's where they get their information from. And he even said that it was on contract freight. So all the information that's manipulating and controlling the spot market rate is contract rates going to mega carriers. So what do we know about mega carriers? They work in volume.
Yep.
All right. We don't work in volume. We work on 2, 3, 4 loads a week. So we have to have a better rate. They'll take the trash rate and put untrained or undertrained drivers on it because that's what they've got. And they'll take a cheaper rate on it and take pennies on the mile because they've got 8 or 10,000 trucks. See, they can do that. We can't do that.
And from a carrier standpoint, they don't depend on the rate. If you're a carrier and you got owner operators leased onto your authority, you're squeezing them in every other different direction. So the rate isn't really all that much of a concern to you. The rate is just what keeps the owner operator happy, right? If he's getting a rate that he feels is good for him, that's great because that keeps him on your list of owner operators leased onto your authority. You still make money off of the trailer rental. You still make money off of the extra money you charge him for insurance that he shouldn't be paying, but you're charging him anyway. You're still reworking the rate con. So if you get a load for $2.50, you could send him a rate con for $2 and $2.25, and he probably wouldn't even know it anyway. You're still charging him for all other incidentals that he has no control over and can't see on his end. So the rate, it's beside the point. These large carriers live off of the squeezing the juice out of the owner operators that are leased onto their authority. They charge them for everything under the sun. You know what I mean? And that's just the facts. I mean, all mega carriers that lease on owner operators squeeze them like oranges. You know what I mean? That's how they make money. You know.
Well,
so
Mike, let me ask you something, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, what do we know about what's the biggest difference between a big carrier and the way we work small carriers and owner operators? The biggest difference is that we don't focus on running 3,500 to 4,000 miles a week. That's the worst rut a small carrier or owner operator can get in, is thinking I've got to get 3,500 or 4,000 miles a week to make a living. That's not the way it is. We want more money and less miles. That's how we make it out here. But that's not the way the mega carriers make it.
Neither the small ones, brother. Even the small ones, it's the same thing. Because I go back a little bit. The small ones took the owner-operator leasing model from the mega carriers.
Yep.
All of those mega carriers that used to lease on owner-operators to their authority back in the days are not even around anymore. The real scum ones are not even around anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, they took guys off the street, bro. They had their own CDL schools set up. You know what I mean? They would advertise on the radio, on TV. Hey, become a CDL licensed truck driver. Come join us. You know, we'll fly you in. They got them their CDLs. They helped them get a leased truck, and they basically own these guys. You know what I mean? They owned them.
So they bankrupt them.
Yeah, and I talk to these guys. Some of these guys are happier than pigs in shit. You know what I mean? I remember there was a guy who lived a few blocks away from me, and he was leased to Prime. And he had this beautiful brand new truck. Every time I saw him, he had a new truck. And I asked him one day, we started talking, and I asked him one day, I said, yo, how much are you bringing home from Prime? And he told me I keep about 35% of my income. And I said to him, I looked at him, I said, how are you surviving on that? He said, yeah, no, it's cool. I'm good. You know, I bring home anywhere between 35, 38, 30%. It depends. I said, so how long do you stay out? Because I don't see you that much. He said, I stay out sometimes a month at a time, 2 months at a time. And he was happier than a pig in shit. And he asked me, he said, oh, so you got your own carrier? I said, yeah. He said, how much do you let your guys keep? And I told him, and he said, what? I said, yeah, brother, you getting raped. Like, that's a nice, pretty brand new truck and all, but you broke and you know it. You driving a brand new truck and you broke.
Yep.
Hey, Mike, making less
than them dudes at McDonald's that man the drive-through window a week, brother. And you driving a $150,000 tractor. How is that possible? Because you stupid. That's how.
But
can y'all hear me?
Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, check this out just real quick. And I got to get in bed, dude. I've been up since 5 this morning. I'm not going to be in here for long. I set my cousin down, my business partner, my family. Dude, I love with all my heart, man. One of my closest friends ever. This dude is, when we was young, dude, I'd get jammed up somewhere across country, you know what? And never have I ever called this man that he didn't drop what he was doing and come rescue my ass. That's how close of friends we are, closer than brothers. But, we work together, and we've been working together for a minute now. And, he come in telling me about how many miles he had run that week. And he had run like 4,300 miles. We done the math. And I'm looking at him, right? And I'm like, do you realize? He's like, yeah, I've run a lot of miles. I'm tired. His clock was dry. So I broke my clock out, and we run the same amount of money that week that we actually made. Our gross, not our gross, but our net. Okay, after the gross, and I broke it down to him. I had run 1,700 miles that week, and we netted the same thing. I said, now see what you're doing? You're killing yourself thinking you got to get all these miles. That's not where the money's at. I mean, I still had 45 hours on my clock. You know what I mean? I had already got on recap because I wasn't working but 7 or 8 hours a day. He broke his clock a couple times to try to make deliveries, and that's what I had to explain to him. You know what I mean? You think because you're getting all these miles and you're making $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a week, where I'm making $6,000, but by the time you break it down, we're making the same exact thing in a net. Yeah, it's all went out your exhaust pipe. It's all went wear and tear on your vehicle. It's all went. So when you actually get serious about making money as an owner op, or what I've done and always done, I want to run the less amount of miles I can run for the most money.
I got you, brother.
You know what Jamie was saying before about Sonar.
Go ahead, Shane.
With Sonar giving you all of those outlets as to where they were allegedly getting their information. It's 100% false, because first off, as a subscriber to those products, you'd have to sign off on allowing them to gather that information. And to have that much, just the manpower alone to cover the trucking industry and getting those sign-offs processed. I mean, you need a whole crew of people in your office, just for that alone. I mean, between your ELDs, between your factoring, between any of that, there's no way that they're going to access that information from a private independent carrier.
Bro, yeah. It's smoke screens and mirrors, really man. Quick, there's stuff built on a house of cards.
Yep.
Real quick, Jamie. Jennifer just dropped in. Hey, how you doing, Jennifer? It's good to see you finally in your living room. Very nice, by the way. I hope maybe if we get some time, you can play us out on the piano. I see that you have a nice baby grand in the background. Jamie, go ahead, man. Finish your thought, bro.
So, somebody's making too damn much money, man. We got to go visit
Right.
her, man.
I was
Damn.
just thinking the same thing, man.
Hey, look. I'm in my home right here.
Yeah, I like that home, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, that they're the narrative and all of their tools. You know, we're paying for these tools they're using to declare war on us and wage war on us through subscriptions, through
Oh, let me tell you. Let me show
dude.
you. That's what you're paying, bro.
Yep.
Yep.
That is what you're paying. DAT makes out on both sides, but they do a little better on the broker side. But you can see that is from DAT's website. That is their pricing for every subscription level. I currently have Power, but I don't see it there. I think it's now DAT1 Select.
It is.
Yeah.
My cousin had
Yeah, go ahead.
my cousin has that. My cousin has the same one you got. It used to be Power, and it went to DAT1 Select. He's got that one. He's paying like $165 a month. I've got the $45 one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The only advantage to the Power or the DAT Select is that board is updated quicker, and actually the loads hit that board about 7 seconds quicker than it does on the lower version. Okay.
Hey,
No, hold on.
so I see the $1 loads faster than you, a couple of seconds before
Yeah.
you did.
Yes,
now,
sir.
listen, with that especially, okay. Let's say, like me, I've got multiple dispatchers. All right, I got some guys that use tablets. I got some guys that use laptops. Some use computers. If you've got a dispatcher that's looking through their app versus somebody that's looking through the website, logged in, it's going to show two different sets of loads available. Two totally different, because me and my guys will be sitting there, we'll be scanning sometimes. You get somebody that's empty ahead of time, and you want to get on there and try and find we'll be talking about loads, and one don't see it, the other one, you know what I mean? They're completely different is what's listed on those. And I called Dad out on it. I said I'm paying for every one of these subscriptions. I says, why is it I'm seeing different stuff from each one of my subscriptions?
Go ahead, Chris. Did you want to add something in there?
No, they're totally right. The app is one. The app doesn't show the all the loads. It's not live streamed for one. The lower subscription that you got, yeah, it takes longer for it to show.
Well, they
See,
throttle
and the
stuff
higher-
down too. They throttle down.
Yeah.
They throttle down the
Yeah.
loads. Like the better paying loads will be on the higher paying load boards.
See,
Yep.
I knew it. I knew when Neo showed up.
But I gross
knew
more
when-
than he does, and he's got the big board, and I got the
See-
little one.
Hold on. You know what? I knew when Neo showed up, when we let him out of the Matrix, Mr. Anderson. This episode was gonna get all sideways. I had a whole thing structured here, and Mr. Anderson messed me all up with my
I'm sorry,
PowerPoint
Mike.
with my PowerPoint presentation. Neo, no, you definitely right, Mr. Anderson. But I want to point something out to people. I call them the COVID drivers, the COVID guys. DAT has actually been around for a long time. It was called Dial-A-Truck. It's been around for 4 decades, actually 5 almost, and it's been around for a very long time. These guys are about as old as OIDA. They were around before deregulation, and they've been trying to figure out ways of ripping you off for 5 decades. So trusting DAT is not very smart. They've had 5 decades to perfect ripping you off. If you trust any information that comes out of DAT, you have to question yourself, because you probably make a lot more bad decisions than trusting information that comes out of DAT. It's It's not a trustworthy source of information. They are skewed towards the broker. Why? Because the broker pays more than you do for their service. You are more valuable as a prospect to the broker than you are basically to DAT. The broker will do anything to keep you calling in for that garbage load. And the more of you that call in for that garbage load, the better chance that broker has of finding that one fool that'll do that load for $1. So this is one of the reasons why the pricing structure is what it is on DAT. They would drop this price all the way down to $2 a month just to keep you call as a subscriber to DAT. And the more of you there are, the more valuable their service is to brokers. You're nothing but a prospect, and you need to remember that. I want to put one last thing on the screen here. This is the disclaimer for the analytical information that DAT provides. Yes, they do have a disclaimer. If you do pay for their service and depend on the information that you get on DAT, I cannot zoom in on this, but I will read it, a little bit of it. I found it very interesting. DAT's disclaimer. Basically, they pretty much let you know that, this is at your own risk. Using DAT is at your own risk. Information disclaimer. While we endeavor to provide complete and accurate information in our products, we make no warranty or guarantee concerning the accuracy, reliability, completeness, or suitability of the information. Product data is provided, and this is in bold, as is. We do not make safety determinations. Rather, we report safety data using government data, including, but not limited to, U.S. Department of Transportation records. Your use and reliance on products are at your, in bold again, own risk, at your own risk, and as is. While we provide an online venue for brokers, carriers, and shippers to offer, sell, and buy products and services, we are not involved in the actual transaction between buyers and sellers. This part is very important because this brings us into government regulation. And it's very important, and I'm going to circle back to that. We do not guarantee the safety or legality of transactions consummated outside our online venue. It is your, once again in bold, sole responsibility to check the credentials of those with whom you conduct business, including, but not limited to, verification on safety and authority records. Warranty disclaimer. To the fullest extent allowed by applicable law, we disclaim any and all warranties or representations with respect to the products provided hereunder, whether express or implied, arising by law, custom, course of dealing, usage, or trade, or oral or written statements other than those contained herein, or otherwise including but not limited to warranties. I'm going to stop right here because I think I said enough, and I think I've read enough. When I read this, I pretty much, you can make up your mind on what DAT is all about and what their information is worth, because it's not worth much to them. Any company that has a disclaimer like that on the back of their product is letting you know that they do not stand by their product. They're letting you know that their product is garbage. And here's the disclaimer for legal purposes.
We accept no responsibility.
I'm done. Like mic drop. I have nothing else to say. Jennifer, I'll let you have the floor on that one. Go ahead.
I mean, absolutely. I can't really say anything. My mic doesn't let me talk. I don't know what it's doing today. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
I hear you loud and clear.
As soon as I unmuted it from the screen, my headset muted and it says mute on. I was like, wait a minute, I just unmuted. That's ridiculous. Well, I mean, this to be expected. It's DAT. It's the same thing as I would expect from the TIA, the DAT, truck stop, any of these other nefarious load boards out there that are, supporting bad brokerism.
I agree.
I mean,
Nope.
what do you want? Stupid is as stupid does.
Hey, look, I'm Forrest Gump too. Like, hey, I trusted DAT as well, just like I know everybody else did. But when you read things like this, and you do, I have to credit Mr. Anderson because he basically did all the research. He got the owner of FreightWaves to admit that the information that all of these major outlets are providing is bullshit. Am I correct when I say that, Mr. Anderson?
He baited him forever.
Yes, sir. We I poked the bear for a long time. Yeah, I called DAT on it too, but yeah, I poked the bear for a long time before they finally bit, man. But when they bit, man, I shredded them. I tore them to pieces and still tearing them to pieces. They don't like us, man. Believe me, because their narrative, we break it, and we break it, and we break it, and they build a new one. They run and try to find a new one. That's the reason why they come out with raid intrusion, brother. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Every time we break down a narrative, they try to run out and build a new one, bro. They can't debate with us. They won't come into our spaces and talk to us. We go into theirs and tear them apart. They won't come into our spaces.
JB,
Why?
You need your own show, bro. I'm setting you up with an account because, like, I can't be doing these 3-hour long shows, man.
We
like,
go in
I
and
gotta
tear them
give you
apart.
your own show.
But then they're condescending and they talk down to you and they have nothing good to say. I mean, they're horrible. These other spaces.
Because they're on the defensive.
Well,
But
I
you
know
know-
it.
Hey, I love it.
Hey,
I love it. I thrive on it. I thrive on it. I love it. I go in there and yeah, I got them blocking me, and I got them running around with cry rags around their neck, wiping the tears off their face. They do not like me. They do not like Mac neither. Mac turns them inside out too, man. Between me and Mac, they don't stand a freaking chance, man.
yeah. Bill is off the hook, man. Chris,
What's up?
Any comments?
So beginning of last year, I seen DAT starting to skew the numbers because the year before, I mean, they were pretty much on point. But last year is when they started skewing the numbers, and I even seen it with the map too. And because every time they said it was a hot area, I get down there
It's dead.
and it's dead. It's just dead. It would even say, what was it? 1 load for every 4 trucks before I got down there. Even the day before I got down there. Even the day of that I was looking for loads, it still said that, and it was just dead.
I've never trusted their analytics. I've never trusted their data. That's the reason I've never used it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've looked at it when I first started doing this, but as I've seen, because the rates that I've always gotten is always well over what their analytics say. So I mean, that's the reason why I only get the $45 one a month. I don't need all of it because I'm quick to tell a broker. When a broker comes at me and tells me, I love it because they come at me and tell me, well, that's the average on that lane. I said, no, it ain't. I said, well, I'm not, and here's my reply to them every time. I'm not your average trucker. I'm not your average carrier. I've been in this some years and I'm very good at what I do. I provide excellent customer service. I'm not going to jump up and down and throw a fit if I get tied up.
That's what
but I
all the
will
steering
put
wheel
Jennifer.
holders say.
I will put Jennifer on their ass.
Jennifer is very effective. And, I want to point that out. Jennifer, the corporate debt collection division and the broker fraud division have really, really evolved, and they are very effective. In the beginning, it was a little touch and go because they had to, in my opinion, change some thinking and go into pit bull mode. But Jennifer and John are basically in pit bull mode in their departments, in my opinion. Especially John. I think Jennifer was always a pit bull, but John, he's a little smart. I guess I could say, like, he's very smart, and he likes to. No, stop. That is not what I meant. He likes to negotiate in a. You cannot negotiate with animals. Do you understand what I'm saying? He likes to rationalize with brokers, and in my opinion, you can't. And Jennifer, I think that you always went after them to the throat. And John was not like that in the beginning, and he is now.
You can't tiptoe around him. You can't tiptoe around him. You got to go right.
Yeah. But I will say he does have. We each have our different type of wording with our wordsmithing. I wordsmith to the heartstrings. He wordsmiths to the diplomatic side. So when we combine those together, we usually can get somewhere. That's why sometimes mine doesn't work. His does. His doesn't. Mine does. We go back and forth. We pass them around and we put them in there in the shaker ball and shake them all up and.
Right.
See what we get out of it.
Yeah, but you guys have been very effective, and I appreciate you, and the association loves both of you. And if anybody has a problem with collecting money from a low-life broker, or
I'm training the next generation behind me, so don't worry. Once we got one coming in behind, so
I saw that. I saw your daughter's. I saw your daughter's essay, and I was very impressed. And yes, we are. Jennifer is raising the next generation of.
I didn't even know.
People that, fight for the little guy. Her daughter is in college, learning about. Business and auditing, accounting. Excuse me.
You're right.
And she plans on, when she graduates from college, learning everything she can about the trucking industry and applying that into fighting for the little guy. And that, in my opinion, that's amazing. And that's what we need.
Let me tell you something.
Shane, go ahead.
I've referred a lot of people to trucking accountants, and I've found 9 out of 10 of them are just as predatory as the factoring companies and everything else out there. There's 1 out of maybe 15 that might be decent to refer to a trucking company, to a carrier to. So if she goes into that field, she's going to be in a realm all her own, because they're just, so many of them are such scumbags out there.
We've got Shane. We've got numbers. We've got the amount of scumbag numbers. Ladies and gentlemen,
my biggest thing before we start, I was going to say one thing about that essay, because I've got to jump here for a minute. As I was going to say, when I read that, my heart stopped for a minute, because I didn't realize she'd been listening as closely as she has. She says, "I've been on all your spaces, Mom," because she's usually in the car. But anyways, when I read that, I thought, now if a 17-year-old can hear us and understand what we're saying, and it has an impact on her to the point she feels that she wants to go into a line of work to help this in the future, then those people in Congress, those brokers, they need to turn up their hearing aids. They need to pay attention. They need to see we're coming.
Their brains are too fogged. That's the problem.
Agree.
Their brains are too fogged.
If you think about it, y'all, we don't shroud what we're doing. We don't have to do it in fancy words. We need to do it because we're talking to the everyday trucker, the everyday carrier out here, and they understand us because that's what we are. As far as when I come into this with Mike, when I met Mike, Jennifer was one of the first persons that I brought in. I told Jennifer about it, and I told Mike, and Jennifer taught me a lot. When I got in contact with Jennifer, and we started talking regularly, and she took care of a couple things for me. I wasn't green. I mean, I hadn't been in trucking but about 3 years, I guess, and I'm pretty good at what I do out here, and I handle most of my business. But she taught me a lot, man. Me and her talking. We spent a lot of time driving down the road, just yakking it up. You know what I mean? But she always took care of me. She was already a pit bull. I promise you. The money she got me, and anytime I took anything to her, it was always handled quickly. Where I mean, I could have handled it myself, probably some of it, but it would have taken me a lot more time. That's what I found about Jennifer. When I call her, they can blow me off. They cannot answer my calls. They can avoid my emails. But when I send it to Jennifer and she makes that phone call, they're going to answer that phone call. And then once they realize who she is, they get on the ball. On the ball. I promise you.
Yep.
I appreciate that, Jamie, and I appreciate Jennifer too. Jennifer, I know you wanted to add something to that. Tom, we're going to get to you. Jennifer, go ahead.
All I had to say about that was just I love to make them pay more. So when they don't want to pay correctly up front, I always try to find as many ways to make them pay as possible on the backside. So if you don't want to pay extra, just pay correctly up front. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to try to make you pay extra because you're wasting my time. You're wasting my driver's time. We have to get places. We have places to go, people to see, things to do, loads to drop. So don't make me work harder. I'm going to make you pay.
Right. And we appreciate that. Mr. Radcliffe, do you want to introduce yourself to the group? Tom?
Mic's off, buddy.
Tom?
Your mic's off, Tom.
No, it's just down. I can hear him barely. Getting better.
I could barely hear you.
A little bit better.
Chris, while Tom is figuring that one out, you want to go ahead?
There's a setting in there that lets you adjust your mic volume on your app there when you first come in.
Please let our IT help him.
I did not know that, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, you can adjust your earpiece volume or your sound, and you can adjust your mic. It actually gives you a way to check your mic to make sure your mic is good, and you can adjust the levels on it. I had to do that with mine.
I'm going to have a conversation with the producer of the show and the people who actually run it. We're going to have to get some new people that manage all of this stuff. If anyone has Marlon's number or contact information, he's trying to get in. He doesn't. He's having an issue with the link. He's saying it doesn't work. I know.
I'm gonna send it to him. I'm gonna send it to him in a text.
Yeah,
I got it. I'm on it.
I don't know how to send it myself. Chris,
I want to say it's hard for me sometimes to get logged into this because I use it on my computer and we get the link to Telegram, so it's on my phone.
Right. Yeah, I have issues with it as well, Jennifer. Thank you. Tom, you fix your mic, bro?
I don't know. Did I check test 1, 2?
Barely, brother.
Barely.
It's very light.
If you go in the settings and you go to audio and then you turn off the automatically adjust mic volume, there's a bar and you can slide the bar.
I think I can adjust his. No, he's all the way up on my end.
And the only way I know to do it, Mike, is to back all the way out. And before you come in, that's when you adjust everything. When it says asks you to enter the studio, it's got a tab there where you can go in and adjust all that.
So on my screen, I got like a mic, camera, chat, and more.
Yeah, but
under more.
That's
you
not.
Can go under setting.
Yeah, correct. Settings right there. There it is. Audio. Go to settings and then go to audio.
Yeah.
Got you. Let's keep it going here. Let's find something else. to Jamie lost Jamie again.
I've got a dip. I'll be on in a little bit.
Gonna lose Jennifer too.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Marlon better get in here.
All right. We'll see you. Thanks for
Bye,
coming,
Chris.
Jennifer.
Bye, Shane.
Yeah.
Bye, Tom.
Take care.
Bye.
All
Yeah,
right.
man. Mike. I'm gonna bow out too, brother. Sorry for blowing up your space and getting y'all sidetracked.
I'm just joking.
Here's the funny thing. We go into these spaces, me and Bill and all of us, y'all too. We all go into these spaces, and we're just talking off the hip, going off the shoulder. And here's what people don't realize: most of these other speakers, when they come into these spaces, they're taking meticulous notes and they got stuff laid out to speak about. Speeches written. That's the one thing about it. When we come into these spaces and we do what we do, we're going off the hip. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of times we're doing 10 other things while we're doing this. Driving, whatever.
You just pretend you got a CB mic in your hand and you just get talking or going down there.
But thank y'all for having me, brother. I got to get some sleep, man. I've been going 16 hours right now, and I'm tired. I'm not gonna get up tomorrow. Thank y'all very much. Love y'all.
Love you too.
I'll see y'all tomorrow on Trucker Tuesday, man.
Take
Yep.
care, brother.
Have a good night.
Hey, Mike.
We got a special guest here, really special guest. Everyone knows him as Marlon from MAGA Mission on Twitter. I know him as John, my friend. John, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us.
All right, so I got to see if I can do this. Can you hear me now or no?
You sound
Yeah.
good.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, first time Noah Live, first time Facebook. So here we go, 101.
I know everybody's like, oh man, that's what he looks like. Yeah, now we got a face there. Yeah. Look at that handsome dude, man. That is Marlon from MAGA Mission on Twitter pretty much every day. He hosts spaces for Noah Tuesday with tomorrow. Yeah, Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And Thursdays 6 to 9, and Sundays I believe 6 to 9 as well, or 7 to 9 as well. And if it wasn't for John hosting us, we probably wouldn't be able to get our message out there. John and MAGA Mission have been very gracious to us, hosting us and helping us get our message out there. MAGA Mission can be found if you're interested in finding out more about MAGA Mission, you can go to www.magamission.org. John, now that we've got you here finally,
I thought he was so much older. He looks so young.
Yeah, look at John. Yeah, John is a cool dude. I met John personally for the first time. I met him personally for the first time like a week ago at a rally in New Jersey. He was very nice to me and my family, and we had a lot of fun. John, can you explain to everyone what MAGA Mission is about and what you guys do?
So, I'll tell you what, this is the God's honest story. So, I'm from Southern New Jersey. I've been, in the commercial fishing end and, more on a lot of tournament style offshore fishing. So, I'm a hired captain and mate, and I was watching what was happening on the East Coast Wind Project. A lot of what was going on was I knew, and so did every other person in the fishing community. There was a problem. So I was going to the rallies. I was, and I have lots of state legislature tentacles here in South Jersey. My brother works for Channel 3 out of Philadelphia, and just trying to get the word out about the East Coast Wind Project. It was impossible. There was a media membrane there, right? So sitting in spaces, we were doing it, it was something that we were doing, collecting our thoughts, and realistically, Matt, Matt's been on the show before, I think, last week he was on. And, we kind of put it together where we needed to start collecting these ideas to be able to go and fight them and give it a digital imprint, right? So if we're able to establish the digital imprint, they can't stop you. The algorithm and the tool that they built, we're going to use it against them per se, as to be able to even get Noah's name and recognition out there. I thought this was the most important part for me, because I could stand on the beach and scream my head off. Nothing's going to change until we get the story out. So, Jamie became one of my great friends from being in the spaces. So, when he brought Noah to us and decided to, hey, this is a great cause and we need to do this, I know, Brett was involved with us and back and forth, but, yeah, exactly. There you go. There's the pictures. I mean, but, we started collecting the information. We started making connections. I went to my state capital to hand them a petition against the East Coast Wind Project. And I've made lots of connections in my state. Applying it to my state legislature, I found out who the snakes are in my own GOP. So, these people have a tactic. We really, Mike knows this. I mean, we have to, attack the state legislature. I say attack, not physically, attack them with policy, attack them with, the same thing. They're no enforcement. They're not enforcing against this, 1980 Endangered Mammal Act that Jimmy Carter instituted. And now they've made metrics against that, which I feel is unconstitutional. As far as the whales, I mean, look at it, man. I mean, can you imagine what that looks like, a 50-foot humpback in the surf? I mean, we're killing the planet, guys. It just makes me sick every day. So honestly, that's why we kind of, started MAGA Mission, and man, we're making all kinds of contacts. I'll tell you what, with the trucking world, this child trafficking issue, let me tell you, if, we know that not the truckers are involved, but the truckers can help us and really make a change for this country is really what we want to do. And there's a lot of connections coming down the pike, guys. I mean, we did go down to the Florida State Summit on child trafficking a couple weeks ago with another personality warrior, and Laura Logan was there, and I'm talking to her just like I'm talking to you guys. So she knows people are out there. So we have another organization, CAT, that we're supporting, and he's going to go tear legislation apart. Look at how they've governed. Who are the guys? Then we can start, attacking the legislature. Working it towards Washington, and that's where Mike's got his hand in the game. And you see the results, guys. It's working. It's working, right? Hey, and I'm interested today. What did the rates look like today?
They were up a lot. Chris, you want to field that one?
I just got my tablet back this afternoon, so I didn't look at the low board. It's hard to read on my phone. So,
Shane, rates were up pretty good today, brother. Shane,
I mean, they're up more than what they were last week. But
I saw some 350, 340,
right.
3 and change.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you see those the problem is when you see those on say DAT or Truck Stop, the problem is they don't list all the information. Yeah, there might be $3.50, $4 a mile, but they don't tell you
how many. I know.
There
was a lot of them.
That's what I ran into last week. I mean, we were looking at a $5,000 load going from where the hell is it going? It was going from Fort Worth to Buffalo, New York. Okay. Now, if it was a straight through load, that would have been great. Even if the stops would have been on the way, it wouldn't have been bad. But you had stops in Virginia. You had stops in Kentucky. Total of it listed it as 1,400 miles. But then when you totaled up all the stops and did the mileage, it was 2,200 miles worth of travel for $5,000. I mean, with all the multiple stops, it just wasn't worth doing, you know?
I saw some nice
Pardon
stuff in Georgia. I saw some stuff from Florida. I saw some stuff in New Jersey. I saw some stuff I could do. Michigan. Tom, you fix your mic, bro? Shit,
Nope.
his mic is still messed up, man. Tom, you was doing better on your phone, man. It's cool. It's a little tab on your on the thing when you go out and you come back in. Right before you come in, he says it's not working. I don't know. Is that on my end? I don't know.
No, shouldn't be.
John, I got a question. How do wind farms affect whales? Can you answer that for me? What?
So basically what you saw, guys, is back in December, January, and February, what they were doing is they were mapping the ocean floor. When I say that, they're getting down to bedrock. So a lot of the places that they're doing it is in like 8, 9, 10 fathoms, and they're magnifying this signal to go down through the sand so they can map the bedrock. So what they're going to do with this bedrock is in Paulsboro, and the pipes are already there for East Coast Wind 1. It's already in the ports, right? These are giant tubes, and I mean giant. If you can imagine, 50 foot around these steel tubes that they're going to take and they're going to pound them into the bedrock. Now, they did a study on how far that sound actually travels. That sound of them pounding it in actually covers 92 miles underwater. So if you can imagine, the right whale, that's the one that is actually most vulnerable in this whole situation. It's a coastal whale. So what that means is it's not a transcontinental whale, or, it doesn't do the international loop like a lot of other pelagics do. They stay right here. They winter down in North Carolina and Virginia, and they summer up in Maine. So, they don't go anywhere. So this constant pounding into the bedrock, all this sonar, you guys heard the phenomena of them running into ships. Well, if you can imagine dropping quarter sticks on you, you'd be a little dazed and confused too. So, these animals are fleeing this noise in the sonar. So, that's the difference. And real quick, there's two ways that whales and dolphins actually communicate to actually, for their prey, right? So a right whale and a humpback have a lot of similars, like to a human. They have little hairs inside of their ears, and they can actually hear the air in the fish's bladder. So when the fish actually moves, it actually can hear that sound, and that's how it feeds on them fish. On a dolphin or sperm whale, they use echolocation, but it's the same effect. If you're bombing them with, sound, and you're bombing them with sonar, obviously these whales are going to be disoriented. That's why you're seeing them beach, and there's a lot of nefarious shit behind this, and a shitload of money.
So basically, the dolphins and stuff, they flee away from it and go to different waters. But because the whales are isolated to that area, they can't necessarily get away from it. Correct?
Correct. And, if you could imagine, how far are they going to run? Are they going to be able to find food again, come back in the circuit when they traveled all the extra miles and maybe they ended up offshore? Fellas, I mean, why are zebra stripes black, but,
right.
I've been around it all my life, and my whole career of mate fishing, tugboats, commercial, I've seen about 3 whales my whole life. So for these people to see those whales on a daily basis, that's only a small percentage of the ones that really got killed.
They've had a couple over there off the coast of Long Island too, beaching themselves here in the last year or two.
Oh yeah.
John, This is a picture on the screen is of a whale.
That is a
off
humpback
the-
whale.
Yeah. So you've actually seen this up close, a dead whale on the beach.
Yes, sir.
I mean, what's that like? I mean, these creatures are amazing. They live very long lives normally when they're not harassed or hassled by stupid human beings. What is it like seeing one this big, beautiful animal dead on a beach?
Well, let me give you an example, Mike.
Yeah.
In Colorado, they had this big thing. They weren't going to install this dam, and they were worried about a inch and a half long. It's called a freshwater smelt, and it's a real little, migrating fish up and down the river. Now, Greenpeace and Sierra Club and all these activists were laying in front of the equipment, and they wouldn't let them work on this dam to produce this dam.
Right.
Now, you see this 50-foot humpback in your surf, and nobody's there. No Greenpeace, no Sierra Club, no aquarium.
But why?
That's because of funding, because of money, right? So all these particular organizations up and down the coast, starting in Rhode Island, infecting it through Cape Cod, through New York, into New Jersey, down to Delaware. Here it goes. There's not a state it's not coming to. In fact, they just released something today that the Gulf states now have all signed on to this offshore wind package. So New Jersey, in Salem County, my own Republicans have facilitated this to make it the #1 East Coast hub for hydrogen production, ammonia production, carbon capture, carbon capture, and also oceanic farming. So now what that tells me is they're trying a desperate plea to be able to attach companies to make sure that these things are efficient enough and make enough money. So I'll tell you, I've been working with the guys in the Department of Interior since 2015. And he's actually the gentleman that actually helped the Department of Interior set this up. So there's a lot of strategic ways that we need to fight back. We need to take the evidence that's coming out of Rhode Island and New England and what the serviceable taxable items are coming out of there on these wind farms. And not only that, what they're doing to these communities when they go in and prop them up and make the communities make an investment in their own properties. Well, guess what? They left, and the communities are in shambles because nobody's supporting the money that they invest. So there's a lot of nefarious shit. Nobody's done any homework. They did no environmental test. And I was going to tell you, there's one chick in Rhode Island, and her company name is Frost Freeze. And if you're eating clam chowder, probably 90% of it's coming from her. Megan. And she was at Jeff Van Drew's congressional hearing in Wildwood, and she presented her case that she built over 10 years. And she laid out all the nefarious introductions to all the cogs that need it. You know, there's also a lot of townships involved. Unions are involved. A lot of payoff money's involved. So these things are starting to come out. And actually, James O'Keefe is actually taking an interest in this now. So we'll see.
I don't understand. You know, I remember back in the days, New Jersey and New York, back in the 80s, the 70s, you know, they had a very shady political makeup. You know, New Jersey and New York, you know, no difference. You know what I mean? It was all mob and, you know, all messy and stuff like that. I mean, even still to this day, I mean, are you saying these politicians are like ignoring these dead whales, these sad dead whales on the beaches in New Jersey? I mean, I'm talking stupid because they're ignoring them right here in New York, Shane. You know what I mean? I mean, we had one dead right here like 2 weeks ago, right here, right behind me, literally. You know, so like
What about the one like 2 years ago where they wouldn't let they had a whole crew of people that were willing to come out and drag it out off the beach, and some animal rights activist or some animal conservancy from the government come out and told them that they would fine them $100,000 if they even attempted to try and assist that whale.
Incredible. Yeah, John, question. Do we have a game plan? Because I know we need to get this out in front of some politicians in Washington. And I know MAGA Mission is going to be in Washington next month. Do you have a game plan ready or anything ready for when you go to Washington next month?
Well, I do. I have. I would like to, everybody's about the evidence, right? We need to take the evidence that we're gaining out of these ones that they already finished. I mean, here, let me give you an example. In New England's project, there was 13 or 14 built. One of them smashed into the sea. One of them curled over and smashed into the sea. The other one blew up, and then 3 or 4 weren't working. So actually, there was only 6 of them producing power. So not only that, you have to understand when these states sign on, your state's actually responsible for the serviceables. So now they're doing wind vane surveys, and they're finding even after 3 or 4 years that they're having flex problems. And they're, so now what's happening is the state is actually wearing the serviceable. So if you can imagine, they installed a $300 million wind turbine, and now they've already spent 80 to 100 million just fixing it. So, look, and then, on top of that is all the serviceables that they have to go out and replace the lubricant, 400 gallons of hydraulic fluid that they're running through these things. So, there's so many gray areas and so many money grabs going on.
You mentioned a couple of them, fell over or went into the ocean. Now with that 400 gallons of hydraulic oil, I mean, that in itself is a concern, is it not?
Yeah.
It's not in a sealed compartment, right?
Oh no! Could you imagine the sheen that went across that ocean that would nobody saw? Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is, they're doing all this to save energy costs, to bring energy costs down. Look how much it's costing to
going green.
Yeah, going green. Look what it's costing to get it started, and to what expense, right? Now
So
we have to see no more. The whales go bye-bye because we don't want to drill where we have oil in this country.
Well, they just shot that down, Mike. They just shot that down. In fact, the Murphy administration in New Jersey just signed a bill a month ago that they will, permanently never drill for oil off the East Coast. Now, you have to understand, too, the Department of Interior has millions and millions of acres out there already aside that they're collecting money from these other, countries. I'm going to tell you right now, $1 trillion investment, and they're coming out with 92 permanent jobs. So let's look at the real issue. These are the concrete issues, right? So, you're going to take it in front of Washington.
We were in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago for this rally, and we were driving home. And as we're driving home, my son says to me, he says, "Dad, what are those things?" And he's talking about that all those oil, I don't know what they call, where they hold the crude oil that come in from the trains over there on the side of the highway. And there's just miles and miles and miles of them. And
on 95 in Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big storage tanks.
Yeah. And you see miles and miles of the tankers, the rail tankers that move the oil and
Biodiesel.
Yeah.
It's biodiesel.
Like, New Jersey just is like abused from a chemical standpoint. Like it's just I remember back in the 90s that smell you smelled when you were in some parts of New Jersey. You don't smell it anymore. I didn't anyway. But I have a problem with New Jersey trying to go back to that. You know what I mean? Like becoming some sort of weird type of alternative power state. You know what I mean? With this wind farm BS that doesn't actually do anything to help anyone.
Well,
Look
can I
at them
say
up on
something?
I-80, up on off of 476 in Pennsylvania. You got about 15 of them up there. Anytime you go down that up around Toby Hanna, getting into the Pittston area, every time you look at them, out of the 10 or 15 that are there, there's only 3 or 4 of them that are actually functioning.
That's
Yep.
Tom's area. Tom,
Yep.
you got your mic fixed?
I don't know. Testing 1, 2. How's
There
it
you
working?
go. Good deal,
Yeah,
Tom.
you good.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
just my laptop. The rail car tankers you see on 95 there, that's a lot of, most of that's ethanol and the additives for the biofuel, the biodiesel. And yeah, we have a lot of wind turbines out here in PA. I used to see a lot out on the bike, but I haven't been riding, so I don't know how functional they are right now, what's going on with them.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a problem, John, and you know, I appreciate you bringing that to everyone's attention, man. And you know, we repost these shows on YouTube. We send them to you at MAGA Mission. Matt gets them put on Google somehow, and we put them on LinkedIn. They're in all of our Facebook platform. So, you know, we want to try to help you get that message out there too, because it ain't just about trucking, man. Even though trucking is bad, you could see that they screw the whales, bro. Like they don't care about the environment. You know what I mean? Like they're screwing everybody. It ain't just truckers, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, Jamie had an idea where, hey, you know, some of these guys, you know, we gained some strength and some, you know, clout, and be able to refuse those loads going into Paulsboro and Salem, because guess what, guys, they're coming at them. So, you know, could you imagine, you know, making a moral stand at that point? Because this is supposed to be, remember now, it's supposed to be the hub for the East Coast of the U.S. So it's going to be coming out of New Jersey. So now there's going to be all this influx of, you know, everything they need for all those different companies. Remember, the hydrogen production is happening.
It's definitely possible. I can tell you from firsthand experience, boycotting any of these companies that are doing something that you don't like is definitely possible. Saying, you know what, as a group, we're not going to carry loads out of a certain area, or we're not going to carry loads for a certain company or municipality or whatever the case may be. It is not a difficult feat. You can definitely do it. And I think in September, a lot of people are going to be surprised because there are a lot of movements planned for next month. Tomorrow, I believe the Mexican Trucking Association is boycotting, and they're shutting down in Mexico. And they're, I don't know how long that's supposed to last. I think 2 days.
Yeah, it's Tuesday and Wednesday.
There's going to be a lot of movements next month over the country and in other countries. Let me see here. Got the whole landscape of West Texas is littered with those god awful turbines. John?
The country.
Oh, they're all over.
That is definitely a problem. I know of it from John. He made me aware of it, and it's definitely an issue. John, what are some of the other projects that you're working on over at MAGA Mission?
Well, I'll tell you, enhancing the child trafficking, I think is the one that hurts my soul the most. I think that putting some effort towards that, especially Laura Logan being in the WIMS there, and Tara Rodas, the Shepherd's Watch, Craig Sawyer from Vets from Child Rescue. So if you could imagine, what other organization is going to have tentacles that you're about to build with all these different organizations? Having these organizations behind something like that, you can become very valuable in stopping the whole thing, right? So I'll tell you, that's how valuable I really think it is. And I think if we follow through with even a tenth of what I'm talking about, we'll make the front news, guys. Every organization that's coming in here, every trucker would be recognized.
I had a conversation with our people down in Washington and our PR firm. We had a very interesting meeting today, and that was the topic. Like, where are we going with all of this? You know what I mean? Like, where are we now?
Well, what I want to say to you is, now bringing an organization like CAT on board with the intricate tentacles that he has. He's been fighting it for a decade now. So when we get all three sides of that puzzle going, working on legislation, working on awareness, and working on solutions, right? So, as soon as we get all three of those in place, man, it's only one or two moves away, and you know what? It's going to rip the lid off of it. I mean, anybody that saw that movie, Sound of Freedom, if you can't, if it didn't rock you to your soul, you're not.
Dude, I sat there and bawled like a little girl, man.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you,
I want to cut in here. I actually brought that up. I brought this issue up to members of Congress, and I can tell you they did not like the fact that I did. It was very uncomfortable, and they made their feelings very clear to me, and it is. I will put it this way: it's going to take numbers. It's going to take more than the numbers that we have to get them to acknowledge the issue and speak up on it.
They never will. They never will. Look at Epstein Island, man. You still don't know. You still don't know who was out there and involved in that. They will never jump on board on that.
Right.
That's the problem.
It was an uncomfortable meeting.
It's a touchy subject when it comes to government on the human trafficking. It's a very touchy subject.
I brought it up with a particular Texas senator, and it didn't go over well.
I mean, I'm sorry, and maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but I think too many people got their hand in the pocket and money from it is what the problem is.
Yeah.
I personally was shocked, and I didn't think that it was an appropriate response to the question of child sex trafficking coming from Mexico into Texas. And I didn't like the response at all. And I made my feelings very clear, and they made their position very clear that they didn't want to respond to it. I'm not going to say they don't care about it. I'm just going to say they didn't want to respond to it. But in any case, I will be meeting with a bunch of them, a bunch of congressmen and senators in September 13th. MAGA Mission and John personally will be joining us down there, and we're going to be addressing a number of issues. Chris, you've been a little quiet. You got anything you want to add before I put this next thing on the screen? Because I think this next thing is going to.
So I want to make it known those windmills, they're growing up everywhere. There's a bunch of them here in Idaho. They're all over Wyoming. And now I can tell you right now, these windmills are killing the farming out here.
Really?
So Chris,
Yeah.
you're right. So they did actual studies that in the areas that they're putting these windmills, the yield on the crops isn't, it's like 35% down comparative to what it usually would yield. And it's drying the soil out. And not only that, Chris, you know, I don't know if you were in my spaces a couple of times. We had people come in from the Midwest where they littered these communities with these in these valleys. And they said that even the town's health has dropped, just some kind of change. So I you know, look, I think there's, you know, I think there's way too much money grab here. I don't know where it's at, but people are getting away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've done studies on it, and they're seeing that there's a lot of radiation that comes off of them.
That's incredible. That right there is incredible.
Hey, not to mention, just moving the power though, Mike. If you can imagine producing the power offshore, you're going to run that electric through that line. You're going to tell me that you're not going to have an electrical impulse off of that line? How's it going to affect everything that lives there? I don't know.
Exactly. And I'm pretty
so.
Look, if they didn't do studies on how it's affecting whales, you know, they didn't do studies on how that is, you know, affect the environment. And it seems like that's what they do now, like just sneak this stuff in. You know, this whole thing here in New York City with this congestion pricing thing with these, they didn't even wait for anyone to put in a response. I mean, New Jersey filed an entire lawsuit against the state of New York for that, and they already put up the cameras to start ticketing people and charging people for coming into New York. Like they just do what they want, and it's just sad. Someone put this up here, John. Living in close proximity will cause dizziness, headaches, stomach aches, and sickness. Response, John.
If you can only imagine the harmonics that are coming off of these blades, right? You know, again, I couldn't imagine living with one, let alone when you sit on the beach now in New Jersey, whether they're 8 miles off, 6 miles off, 12 miles off, you're going to hear them. You're going to hear that. Yeah, you're going to hear it. It's going to change. Right. It's going to change the Jersey Shore forever.
That's incredible, man. That right there is incredible.
You know, and not even to mention of the herring stock. You know, no mention of anything, man. They have everybody turning their cheek because of money, man.
Same thing we're going through in trucking. Same thing, man. Just
with no enforcement.
No enforcement, payoffs here, payoff there. They try to sneak in legislation, but we got, you know, there's watchdogs that see it and they report on it. Chris,
I want to put this out there too. So those windmills, it's taking more energy to actually run those windmills than what they actually produce.
Yeah, that's what I was throwing out there.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Sorry.
Nah, that was before. You worded it better than me. I'm a little bit of a dipshit right now. I'm multitasking, so you worded it better than me. So I wanted to put this up here because real quick, a member of the group found a load, a double brokered load on DAT, and caught him. Shane. Is Shane still here? Where did he go? Get a beer?
Probably.
So this is one of the reasons why I've been going after DAT, because they actually help facilitate double brokers rip us off. And this guy here, he caught one red-handed, and he posted it in the group right here. Looked like a legitimate guy. Everything was on the up and up. Turned out it was a double broken load. Chris?
Yeah, I seen the post, and I mean, I'm really not surprised DAT's not doing nothing about it.
Sorry, brother, I'm back.
Yeah,
I
Shane,
mean, look what they did with Surge. Look what they did with Surge when they filed Chapter 11. They were still posting their load.
Now, listen, what I send you today, Mike? Somebody sent me a message saying that Surge had loads posted today.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. This guy caught this double broker on DAT today. He posted in the group. Did you see it?
I seen that, and I seen the one. What was the other one? I don't know. You had posted one asking if anybody knew any information, and if you read the, if you go in and look at the reviews from their employees, I posted what the reviews from the employees said. So.
That was my point. Like, I posted all this information about DAT in the group, and all I got was bile spit back in my face. But you know what it is, what it is. John, I'm going to give the mic back to you, man. Anything you want to add? I think we covered everything we were going to cover today, as far as from a trucking standpoint. Anything you want to add?
Hey, John, real quick before you jump on. I got some friend. One of my dispatchers is heavily involved in the fishing industry out in Long Island, and he's also in with a bunch of the tugboat companies. If there's any type of connection you need out there, man, I will reach out to him and see if I can make the connection for you.
Well, it's getting those guys aware of the problems. So yeah, that's great. I appreciate the tentacles because that's how this is going to work. And I've been screaming community since the beginning. So, I think that's the only way we're going to be able to accomplish anything here. So, and hey, real quick, I want to ask Chris. Chris, where do you live at in Idaho?
I live
near.
No, I live in Buell. It's near Twin Falls, Idaho.
Yep.
Buell.
So I've been to Idaho. I've been up through St. George's Gorge there, up towards Pierce, and up the hill there. Right? Is that what they say? Up the hill.
Yeah. That's the northern part of Idaho. I'm in the southeast part.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I mean, listen, guys, having the security of having a community of truckers behind the movements is it's the strength. That's the way I look at this. When we really get this thing rolling, I mean, you guys are going to carry a lot of strength, and that's, hey man, I just want to be a part of it.
Well, between NOAA, MAGA Mission, I mean, it's not just going to be for truckers. It's not just going to be for the windmills. I mean, any subject that we see as that affects us. I mean, the world's our stage, man. I mean, it's you bring up what it is that needs to be corrected. This is our platform.
Yeah, we gotta protect the country. Period.
Hell, nobody else is at this point.
Exactly.
It's crazy. We got a lot of support, and I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, you're good, brother. Good.
There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and there's a lot of groups and individuals that they don't speak out, but we have an incredible amount of support from a lot of different industries and segments of the trucking industry that people don't realize. We have a lot of dispatchers that support us and are paid members of the National Owner Operators Association. We've got company drivers that are paid members of the National Owner Operators Association because they plan on one day becoming owner operators, and they care about what's going to be there when they decide to go out on their own, because that's the natural progression of getting your CDL, right?
But
you do that because that's your room for advancement. That's your room for growth. When you've driven a truck for somebody all those years, and you've saved your money and you've decided to, go out and start your own business, that's the natural way things are supposed to work in this.
Entrepreneur and mentality.
Exactly.
It's an American dream.
Yep.
Exactly. And they're taking that away. So we have a ton of support. We have support from people from other countries. We have members from Brazil, just everywhere, Mexico, Canada, Pakistan, India, Russia,
New
we
Zealand.
got a ton of people. New Zealand. We got members from all over the world. Why? Why? Because they believe in America and they believe in entrepreneurial spirit. They believe in owner operators, right? They want what we have, or they want to come over here and participate in it. They believe in this country. They believe in the idea, and they support us.
You go on social
And it's
media and
important for us.
you see how many people from other countries are asking for sponsors to come over here to work as truck drivers. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen an influx of it here in probably the last 6 months. You'll see people, hey, is there anybody out there willing to sponsor me? I'll work for literally about pennies on the dollar. Just give me the opportunity to come over there. And I mean, it's crazy.
Government don't care and don't have time for trucking problems.
Ain't that the damn truth?
They are busy making new laws like LBG, TQ, and other nonsense stuffs.
Mike,
Samed, Samed, I agree. I'm not going to say I have anything against the LTBG community.
Hey, back in the day, Mike, everybody minded their own business. What you did behind closed doors was your own business, and nobody cared.
And they still should.
Listen, my 13-year-old daughter, she goes on the computer. I've got parental controls on it. She goes on trying to look at stuff from Disney. And all I see is how they're segregating and reviewing each character of each cartoon as to, oh, this one's non-binary, this one's a lesbian, this one's a homosexual. I mean, she's not doing anything wrong, but they're cramming it down their throat. I mean,
they do it in my kids' school as well, and
it's sad.
I've seen them with my own eyes doing that, and I've had words with them, and they try to tell me I'm not allowed to say anything. And listen, I can tell you some stories. I live in New York, brother. This is the place where, you know what? I don't even want to touch the subject. So I'm going to leave it alone, but it is what it is.
Let bygones be bygones, but don't cram it down our kids' throats. That's the only thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, as a parent, hey, brother, the bottom line is this, Shane. As a parent, you have every right to say what you want your kids to be exposed to and not be exposed.
That's all.
So I support that, and I'm going to leave it right there. It's not about what I approve of or what I think about a certain situation. That's not the point. The point is every parent has the right to decide what they want their children to be exposed to and what they don't want them to be exposed to. I can tell you that when COVID first came out and the schools said, your sons have to get this shot or they can't come back to school, I raised hell about it. Me and my wife got into massive fights about it, but I had to bite the bullet because I had to put my kids back in school, bro. You know what I mean? And
yeah, but isn't that part of the problem, Mike? Isn't that part of the problem?
That's definitely part of the problem. And my oldest son, he was 8 at the time. He said, "Dad, I'm just let me get the shot." You know what I mean? And I said, "You sure, man?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll get the shot." And he got the shot. My youngest did not, though. To this day, he did not. He was in kindergarten at the time, and they couldn't force the kindergartners to get that shot because he was underage and it wasn't proven to be safe enough for those babies at that time. But the older one, they quickly said, yeah, let him get it. And, he got it. He's all right, thank God. And but I agree with you, John. And I know MAGA Mission is working on the vaccine injured, working with the vaccine injured as well. You want to expand on that?
We had a great space today. We had a doctor come in and and she's inserting herself into the community, educating people on home remedies too, right? We got Janice that comes up into the spaces, and she talks about how you make hydroxychloroquine on your own, right, without the medical field involved. They do a lot of pre-maintenance with what the concoctions that they make, and it's very common sense stuff. And in fact, I'll be honest with you, I'm a big enthusiast of gardening. I've been gardening for years, and I grew potatoes this year. I grew carrots this year. I grew, everything that I use. I'm picking out of my garden. I'm not even buying it, in the stores. So
It's fun.
It is. I mean, hey, am I going to last all year on what I'm going to grow here? No, but at least I got a reserve, for a little while. So if something happens, we can pick out of there pretty well. We buy our meats out of local butchers, and I got somebody grew me a pig, dude. I can't wait to eat this pig because all he did was feed him vegetables. And really, Shane, that's what this community is all about, is raising your community awareness, and really, just like you were talking about education, Advocate, she's got a blank sheet that you can take in any state to opt your kids out of this sexual education or the testing or what. Remember, you wield a whole lot of power in that school system when you're the parent.
My daughter is labeled special needs. During COVID, they were crying about, oh, the kids need to get back to school. The kid needs to get back to school, this and that. And they were worried about getting the homeschooling to the kids. And I actually contacted our lieutenant governor at the time, Dan Forrest. And I says, look, you guys are talking about all the general education kids. Never once have you said anything about the IEP children. The individual education program is what it's that's what they learn from.
So I had a son myself, Shane, same thing. And they weren't dispersing the funds. That's actually how I got into this. This is why.
No, so I contacted the lieutenant governor. Let me tell you, I was driving at the time. I was making a delivery at Camp Lejeune, where my route was. And I got a phone call the next day from the lieutenant governor. He put me in touch with the school board. He put me in touch with Star Magazine. They did an interview with us, and he really tried to do something. Unfortunately, the race was, we won't get into all that. That's a whole nother discussion, but he should have been the new governor, but he really had the best interest of the people at heart. I mean, and it's a shame, man. I mean, listen, MAGA, I'm not that great with Twitter. I'm still learning it, but I try and get on there occasionally when I can.
Jump on there, man.
My big format is Facebook, only because, I'm technologically challenged, and I'm on Facebook constantly. So now I got to start making the transition over to Twitter a little bit. So
a piece of cake, man. Piece of cake.
Twitter's easy, bro. If you can use Facebook, you can use Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's really easy. We get
Twitter's
you in
like
the face.
a texting thing, bro. It's just texting. Where Facebook is like a world, Twitter is simply texting.
Right. And like I said, it's just a matter of switching, platforms, I guess you'd say. I'm just complacency, I guess. So.
What shows do you have coming up this week, John? Are you doing any of the self-defense shows this week?
So actually, I'm not doing those. MAGA was doing some of them, but I think that kind of got put on hold because we got so many things that are happening right now. But I have to tell you, Wednesday we're probably going to go at, kind of designate Wednesday for more of the trafficking space. The problem is, though, you have to understand we have to do it to where we're not shocking people, because we're laying a lot of things out there, and it's really upset a lot of people. So we have to be selective on how we do it, and we have to craft it a little bit better. because we're expecting, like you, Chris, and Shane, you guys are pretty educated when you go in those spaces. There's some people going in there and hearing this for the first time.
You're doing something I'm still trying to get the hang of, and that's tell people the truth without offending them. And,
throttle it back a little. I'm not good at that.
I don't know how to do that. I can't tell you what you want to hear. I have to tell you the truth, whether it hurts your sensitive ears or not. It's still the truth. Bill, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Great. We've got Bill on the line. Bill just joined us. Mac on Twitter. Billy Mac. Bill, what's going on, brother? Talk to me.
Not much, man. Just rolling eastbound. Jamie told me how to make it happen without the camera, so that's what I'm doing down here in Louisiana with a little bit of rain.
Be safe, brother.
Yeah, we're just doing what we can. That's really about it. I've been laying pretty hard into the other side today, who were saying things like the rule of nature and some other nonsense. The one thing that puzzles me, and we talked about this years ago, and some of the guys that are listening now will remember when we were on Center Lane Show, one of the things that I proposed to the brokers back then was, if you guys are so concerned about the trucks being safe and compliant, then you should go to DC and push for legislation to get it to a biannual inspection or something in that manner. Because the young lady put up today on Twitter, or it was yesterday, where she has now accumulated 7 brokers that refuse to load her because she hasn't had a recent DOT inspection. Now, what they're saying, but what they're not telling people is it's a roadside inspection that they want. It is not an annual inspection that they care about. It is something as to what is basically a happenstance inspection. You either are doing something wrong on the road, or you catch their attention for whatever reason, or you have a very bad safety score when you roll through the scale house. Most of the time, if you have a very good safety score or a decent safety score, they will leave you alone.
And if you go in there and ask them for an inspection, most of the times they will blow you off. This is a big bone of contention for me as a dispatch service, man. The brokers have the ability. They have multiple different platforms. You have, I believe it's Assured Assist. Carrier OK is the newest one. Carrier OK is a veteran-owned company that built an algorithm that all they got to do is type in the MC of a carrier to verify if they're double brokering carriers or not. It's very simple. It's a very simple process. It's pretty much on point for everything, but yet the brokers refuse to do that. They'd rather hinder the freaking carriers and make them go through these inspections and take a chance of being put out of service and endure other costs instead of maybe spending $25 a month to be able to just log it into a computer and find out who's double brokering and who's not. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I mean, you hit a valid point.
Bill. Hold that thought, brother. 1 second, because I think Blake joined the show a little late today, and I want to circle back on something. Bill, please don't forget that thought, because I'm going to give you the microphone. Marlon, are you there? I got something I want to put up on the screen here. Marlon,
I think he might be gone, Mike.
No, he's there. He covered his camera.
Okay.
I think he might have had to take care of some personal business, but I want to put this on the screen. So my son, this is touching on the issue that we were speaking on before.
I see that.
Bill came in. My son is missing his cerebellum, part of his brain. no in school since COVID started. I made them supply his services online, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. My twins were born 2 months premature and are now 10 years old. The other one has a heart condition. They are not candidates for vaccines. I wouldn't get them anyway. She has every right to say no.
Hey, Mike, if you want to give her my name on Facebook, I can. There's some things I know that could help her out with some of her situations there that I might be able to give her some advice on, man.
Okay, Shane, will do. Everyone knows who you are now, sir. You're known to 40,000 individuals in this group, so you're not a hard guy to find. Chris, you want to touch on that, bro? It is very scary. Chris.
My heart goes out to her. I know it's challenging raising children that do have impairments. I went through it with my son. So, and same with you, Shane. My son was an IEP throughout this whole school year. Almost had him out of it because I finally got a teacher that actually did exactly what I wanted.
That's the key. These kids don't have issues. These kids don't have issues. The issues are with the standardized testings and the industrial tests and everything. The teachers aren't allowed to teach like they used to teach. They have to train them to pass tests. You get a teacher that actually knows how to teach, and they will get through to those kids, and they'll find what clicks with those kids. Those kids, listen, just because they got an IEP doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them intellectually. Actually, they're more smart than most of the general pop of the kids.
You know what, Shane, the thing is it's easier to label the kids IEP or ADD or something like that. It's easier to label.
Did you know that ADD now, ADD, ADHD, all of that is now labeled under the spectrum of autism? Used to, autism was autism. Now there's a whole spectrum of autism. You can have dyspraxia, you can have dyslexia, you can have ADHD, ADD. Any of that is now classified as under the autism spectrum umbrella. So all of these kids, I mean, back when we were in school, you didn't have none of this. You know, you didn't have it. At the very most, your hyperactive kid might have got some Ritalin back then. You know, but now,
that's bad. You know, all of
absolutely.
that medication and stuff is bad. You know,
my daughter don't. You know, I listen, but you get me on a touchy subject now, brother.
No, I got you. You know, our hearts. I'm not going to mention the name of this member of the group. Marlon, are you back?
There he is.
Marlon, you back?
Yeah, sorry about that.
We had a COVID story here from one of the members of the group. You ready? Oh, it's on the screen, bro. She's a very big supporter of the association and of MAGA Mission. She attends a lot of the spaces, almost all of them. She actually put up another post here. Can I remove this one real quick, Marlon? Yeah. Marlon, your mic is off.
Wow, sorry about that.
I got you now.
Yeah, hold on. Yep.
Yeah, that's a vaccine issue. She said hell no to that vaccine. And, you know, as a parent, I applaud her. You got to say no. If you go with your gut, go with your heart. No, those are your kids. Absolutely not. I don't want that shot. That's what I did. If my son wouldn't have said, "Dad, it's all right," he wouldn't have got it. You know what I mean?
My daughter don't have it, and she ain't going to get it.
That guy from last night on Spaces, Rule of Nature, that guy, that was the guy I've seen on YouTube, ET Transport, I think. You had a celebrity in your space last night, John.
Really?
The guy that I was going back and forth with, and then he disappeared. I think he said something crazy like, the laws of business or something stupid like that.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah, we were going
No,
back and forth.
Wait, what the? So he's been in our space lots of times.
Yeah, he's a putz. Yeah.
Well, he goes in Kevin Rutherford spaces a lot. He's in there a lot.
Right.
So, but he doesn't have he didn't have a leg to stand on. He was like natural. Oh, this is the natural evolution of it, right? Isn't that what he said? Right? Am I right?
Some craziness. Like, what business you go in and you're not allowed to update your equipment? You got to buy garbage equipment. You know, like, it's no business. If you spend time in business and you make money, you should be able to buy a brand new truck or two. If you want to. That's the whole point of being in business. Growing. If you're not going to grow, what's the point? Right? Go get a job and work for someone. It's easier. Right? You don't have to kill yourself in like a hamster on a wheel. You know what I mean? Just go
less
become
expensive, less headache.
You become an owner operator and you buy one truck, and maybe 2 years down the road you buy 3 more. You know, 2 or 3 more. That's the whole point. She says, it's all gravy. I homeschooled my daughters who are 22 and 23 now. I homeschool my boys now myself. Yeah, if you can do it, yeah, absolutely. I would have done that. The school won't get any more money on his behalf now. Idaho didn't mandate it, thankfully. Chris, aren't you in Idaho?
Yeah.
Oh.
Blake lives in Mountain Home. She's about 100 miles from me.
So you basically, I guess in Idaho, that's your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
He drives over and borrows a cup of sugar.
Yeah.
No, ADD lives in Utah. He's a couple of minutes away from Chris.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle.
Last night. Maybe
I'm right in the middle of. I'm basically right in the middle of Utah, well, Salt Lake, where Mike is, ADD, and Boise to where Blake is.
Hey, listen, this is good, actually. I didn't know Blake was in your state. You two. We have to get together with ADD and other people. We have to.
We already are.
Other truckers, and we have to start going after those politicians in Utah and in Idaho, brother. We have to do this. I didn't know you were all in this area. You're close.
What happened with the mayor, Mike, from Utah?
Oh, he came back with a snappy response. He was supposed to appear on a show with us, and he didn't show up, and he said, I'm not doing the show, and I will respond to trucking issues when I am elected. And he left it at that. And
really?
That's what he said.
Oh, he's got to have some brokers in his pack. That's what it is.
You know, I learned from Twitter last night that PACs are a very sensitive subject. So I'm not going to touch him anymore. I'm not going to touch him anymore. Mike from Utah. This is Morris. Yeah, Morris is in Utah too. We have a whole network of force right there in that general area. We got to start pounding these senators and congressmen in this area.
Tim Wilkinson, he's in Nevada.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
up by Reno. He's close by too.
So
And
let me
then
ask you-
Jackie, I don't know
I
if
really
Jackie's
gotta-
part of the group
I
or
really-
not, but she's in Northern California.
Mike, close by to those guys is not like close by to you, brother.
I know. I'm like,
No,
he's like,
yeah.
he's 300 miles away, right up the block. No, I hear you, man. Tim is in Lodi, California.
Yeah.
I think I spoke to Tim yesterday. You know, California's tough, man. Blake.
Let me ask you.
Blake, yeah,
You got Matt down there, don't you?
Yeah.
Matt's in California,
Yep.
right.
Matt's in Southern California. That's a little bit of a travel.
Well, he's in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Mike, let
Matt's
me-
about probably 1,200 miles from where I'm at.
yeah, it's far.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What I know, at some point, Noah's aspirations would to have a satellite office in every state. I mean, what do you think now with aligning with some of these other alliances that you've built? What do you think as far as getting offices in the lower 48? I mean, do you have
Well-
some aspirations for that? Obviously.
Well, to have an office in every state in the United States is very possible. We have members in every state in the United States, and I've multiple times put posts in the group asking if people would be interested in something like that, and I've got a lot of responses from people. So we can put office. Bill, I know you got bumped, and just 1 second, we're going to get right back to you. We can put offices in every state in the United States. That's not a problem. Not only that, but we can even put offices in other countries, Mexico, Canada, Brazil. We can put offices in India, Pakistan. It really doesn't matter. And truthfully, we probably will. London, Spain, we probably will. Wherever there is a truck community, we can put an office, because what we are doing, it goes past the United States. Truckers have rights, and they need to be respected no matter where they are driving a truck in the world.
I got
Bill, are
offices
you
in
there?
North Carolina, Florida, and Long Island. So
Absolutely. Bill, are you there?
Yeah, man. I had to get off because I had to make sure where I was. It's been a while since I've been down here, so I wanted to make sure I didn't get lost.
Bill,
So-
do you have your co-driver with you? Is that
Yeah, man. He's sound
Okay.
asleep, bro. He's sound asleep.
Okay. You see, he's useless, bro. He was supposed to be making sure you didn't get lost, bro. He's got issues.
He's not. He's not a German Shepherd or a short-haired pointer. So I mean, he does his job other times. So he's good.
Hey,
So-
he's all right. What's his name?
Arthur.
You
Yeah,
joking. His
man.
name is Arthur.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. My wife and I were picking out names. He was sound asleep, and I said a few, and he woke up and looked at me like, "Oh, hell no, that ain't it." And then all of a sudden, I looked. I said, "Well, we got him from Arthur, Illinois. That's where the breeder's at. So why not just say Arthur?" And he looked up and cracked his smile, and I was like, "Well, I guess that's it." So, yep.
Hey, well, listen,
And,
I know Bill just stepped up. Mike, I know Bill just stepped up, but listen, I got to bounce.
John,
Late
we
on these
appreciate you, and you look tired. We appreciate you, and you have an
Mhm.
open invitation to be on Noah Live whenever you'd like. You and every single member of MAGA Mission has an open invitation to be on Noah Live whenever you'd like, sir. Thank you for joining us.
good
So-
meeting you, John. Have a good night, brother.
Shane, thanks. Chris, good to see you. Bill, and listen, you gave me a little
Good
homework.
to see you, John.
Good to see you. Gave me a little homework and a direction for what we have to do the 13th here. So, I know you have some concise issues, but I'll have a couple bullet points myself. So,
Hey, John, here's a little tip for you. they ignore me in Zoom. They're going to ignore me in person. So you might as well use this opportunity to get your point across, because they're going to ignore me. I represent truckers. I'm going to do the best I can. They're going to do this to me most likely, and you're going to step up, bro. So
Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
The floor is yours. Thank you for joining us, sir.
No problem. Phil, good
All right.
good to see you. I know it's last minute. See you later, buddy.
That's okay.
Cheers,
That's
John.
cool.
Go ahead, Bill. You got the floor. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So earlier we were discussing this thing that the brokers are doing, and so of course one of our arch nemesis came up and said, "Well, one of the newest complaints for failure," and my immediate response back was, "Whoever said it was a failure?" The poster never ever discussed it being a failure. She's just upset. For lack of better words, I mean, I could say pissed off that she can't get loads from these brokers because they're demanding inspections. So as I said earlier, and these are roadside inspections, they're not an annual, they're not biannual, they're not quarterly. And these are things that we told them they could do decades ago, and they still haven't done it. So you have to sit back and wonder why the brokerage side is demanding that for so many brokers, you must have a roadside inspection. And we've already discussed what that actually is. Okay. But they haven't gone to make a final ruling or anything in that manner or realm or anything at all in that direction. And the
One every
only
90
thing
days is what they're requesting.
Say that again, Shane.
One inspection every 90 days is what the majority of the brokers that are looking for these are requesting. Registry, the electronic registries, when you set up with these brokers, they're the ones that are actually carrier 411's one of them. The registry monitoring, a lot of these bigger brokerages that are hiring these that are paying to have your electronic setup with them. Those are who are monitoring those.
Well, that's mostly truck stuff.
It's truck stuff.
RMIS.
Right. RMIS.
RMIS is
Yes.
owned by truck stuff.
Right. But then you
I
also
could-
have carrier registry. They do it. There's a few different ones that are requesting it.
Stop.
Well, do you have the names of those? If you could send those to me, I would greatly appreciate it. The thing is, what they're claiming.
Message me if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, I will.
Shane Mick, just message me and I'll get them for you and I'll send them over to you, brother.
Okay, great. Thank you. So
Go ahead,
the thing
Bill.
that irks me is that they're saying that the reason they're doing this is to verify who you are, but the FMCSA has already verified who you are, and there are other ways like taking pictures of your door jamb where your actual VIN number is, taking a picture of your truck. There's also people that send in driver's licenses before they book the load. There's
See,
all
that you
different
should not do.
ways
That you should not do, because what they're doing a lot of these places that are requesting you send in the driver's license, they're utilizing that to double broker freight under your MC, and they're using your driver's license to get the quick pays from it.
Right. Well, I don't do that. So
no, I'm just saying.
I'm saying that's a great advice. Yes. Yeah, that's great advice. So, but what they're doing is
Go ahead, Bill.
what they're doing is they're saying they're requesting this because they want to make sure this is who you are. Now, I was on a freight therapy space maybe within the last month or two, and the guys were saying it's the insurance companies that are making them do it. I don't care who's making them do it. The thing is, they damn well know, and I don't know any nice way to say it, that if they went to Congress or the FMCSA or the USDOT and demanded this 90 day, 120 days, 6 months, however often, the number of carriers that would drop out of this system would be quite a large number from where I'm sitting and what I've seen rolling into the local tire shops, rolling into the local mechanic shops. The mechanic, the head mechanic, and the shop owner tell me you should see the other trucks that come into this place. The same with the tire guys. I was down at Opelika, Alabama, maybe 2 weeks ago. There was a carrier from Florida. The truck looked okay, but all 4 tires on the front axle, the middle of it was worn away, and you could see the steel in the tires. And it's like that everywhere and anywhere at any time. So I'm just thinking, going, why aren't they requesting this to be a federal thing? And they've had decades to do this. In other words, they're scared they're going to lose their cheap rate haulers because they know that they wouldn't pass these inspections.
Right. I agree. And I want to show you something.
You know, in regards to what you're saying, it's Bill, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Bill.
Or Matt.
I've had in one instance, I had a dispatch client. He came to me. He went MIA for a couple weeks, came back to me, and he's like, listen, I need you to get me out of a tough area. So, I was like, all right, whatever. I got him out of the tough area. He gets to the shipper. Now, I had pictures of his original truck and his original registration and all of that. He gets to the shipper. The shipper actually called me and said, hey, who am I loading here? He says, there's different names on the side of the truck. He goes, this truck is held together with duct tape and bungee cords. He goes, it doesn't have a mud flap anywhere around it. He said, the tires are bald. He goes, this truck looks like hell. He sent me pictures. And I mean, in an instance like that, I could understand where somebody's looking for a little bit more credentials. And listen, I am not by any means defending the brokers for what they're doing. But
so
you have so many of them out there that are doing this that it's becoming a problem.
Okay. If I can cut in here. So this is RMIS for a lot of people that don't know. I am a broker. I have RMIS. This section of RMIS allows me to override certain criteria that I have for allowing a carrier or owner operator to run a load for my broker. Any of these classifications right here, my system is set up with RMIS to check all of these situations on a carrier or owner operator before I assign them a load, or they're allowed to sign up with me to carry a load. I can override all of these, right? So if you take the first one, for example, this is the most popular one. This is the one, authority, not the first one, the second one, authority time check not required. That is the one where brokers can put in the amount of time you had to have your authority before they will allow you to carry loads for them. Most of them set it at 3 months, 30 days. I could override it to just say, shut up and let this guy sign up with my broker and allow him to carry loads for me. If you notice, what Bill is talking about right now is not on this list. But this is RMIS. RMIS is the most popular one that brokers use. I use it to do background checks on carriers and owner operators. Everyone that signs up with the National Owner Operators Association broker has to be run through RMIS before they can carry loads for the association broker. So this is all that's available on RMIS. As far as how many times you've been inspected,
it's not even available on it.
Yeah, that's an issue with the particular broker. That is not a normal requirement for every broker.
But yet that's what they're utilizing to
not give you the load.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Say, RMIS won't let you.
Right. So I just wanted to put that out there because I get a lot of questions about that too. Like, yo, why do they all do this? Why do they all do that? Why do they all say I have to have this amount of time? It is not a rule. It is not a law. It is not some sort of mandate. It is up to the broker to set those parameters.
Oh, and those parameters change. JB Hunt and King of Freight, they're notorious. You'll call them one week.
Change them. You can change them anytime.
Yeah, you'll call them 1 week, and listen, when the rates are good and there's everybody out there, King of Freight was, I think, down to, it was 60 days. All of a sudden, you call them when the market starts getting a little more tough, and they've jumped it up to a year. JB Hunt the same way. JB Hunt changes it as the freaking wind blows, man. I mean, Right. So, I mean,
and I want to touch on something else, Bill, before you jump back on the mic. I get these people all the time. How do I get an inspection? How do I get an inspection? And I the only thing I can tell them is go to an inspection house and ask the cop to inspect you. You know what I mean? But it's funny. Like, if you're a cop, you want to write a ticket. You know what I mean? Like, that is your objective. Your objective is not safety. Your objective is to write a ticket, right? You don't care about safety. If you think these guys care about safety, you're bugging. They don't care about safety. They want to write violations. If you're asking a cop to inspect you, you're doing that because you know he ain't going to find nothing. So you're wasting his time. So that's the reason
and he's going to blow you off.
Because he knows he's not going to find nothing. You know what I mean? They don't inspect people that say, yo, inspect my truck, please. They know you're telling them to do that because you got brand new lines, you got brand new brakes, you got brand new everything. There's nothing to find. So you're just wasting his time. You know what I mean? He could go back to watching Pornhub in the shack. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna inspect you. You know what I mean? He got more important things to inspect. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna find nothing, so he's not gonna inspect you. They only inspect trucks that they feel they can get a violation.
Make revenue off of.
Exactly. So you're wasting your time. I mean, you'll get lucky every once in a while. A cop feel bad for you and he'll give you an inspection. But they're not going to inspect you if you ask them to inspect you. They know they're not going to find anything. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry about that, bro.
No, you're all right. You're 100% spot on, So I remember one year I went in and asked for inspection. They looked at me and they said, get out of here. Just get out of here. And they all laughed at me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's you're right. But there are some times over the years that I've been inspected just, because they need to do one. They've got to do one for the blitz or whatever. And they know it's clean. We got stopped going down 220 one time and the guy was real nice. He goes, what are you doing? And I told him, I said, well, we're going down here to do something. He says, well, do you mind if I inspect? And I was like, well, we're really not on duty, but okay. And he goes, here you go. And he walked around and did what he had to do. And he goes, here you go, clean inspection. I was like, awesome. So that helps, that helps you. But this nonsense that these guys are doing, that there's better ways to check. And what's even worse is what they don't consider is not every state is enforcing on the same things. One state may be looking for the height of a mud flap being wrong. Another one might be looking for tread depth on a tire. Another one might be looking at brake lines. Another one might be looking for leaks of oil. And it's never the same. No state will ever enforce the same thing as a neighboring state all the time. I mean, this is just, it's nonsense that these guys actually think they know about the inspection system, and they don't. They probably don't even know that there's something called an inspection score. When we were talking about this years ago, people were like, oh, no, you're full of shit. And then all of a sudden somebody just explained it not too long ago, and I was like, here it is again. Now you all know there's something known as an inspection score. And that tells an officer whether or not, I think it's pass, must inspect, or either or. I think there's 3 different stages, if I remember correctly. And if you start out, your score is like 80 to 100, and then as time goes by, if you don't have any inspections or any bad inspections, your score actually goes down. So the higher your score is, the more likely they're to inspect you. I remember seeing a couple posts this week and last week on Facebook about why am I continuing to get inspected? And I said, well, what's your inspection score? And they said, I don't know. I said, well, next time you go in there, ask them what your inspection score is. Well, we had this, this, and this. And I was like, well, then that's going to raise your inspection score. That's why you're being pulled in. You
And
need
the
to get
free
guys.
passes operate off of that as well.
Yeah. You need to get guys to get good, clean inspections, and your inspection score will go down. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things that affect it. But these guys are hoping on a prayer that your inspection in one state will be the same as it is, the criteria will be the same as it is from one state to the next. And it's not always that way. They're all trained, but, maybe it may even be different between the officers. Because if one officer continues to see one problem, that's what he or she is really going to look for on the next truck that they inspect. And that's how they get their criteria. They found this wrong. Oh, well, this is an example, okay? They found example A as being wrong on all the trucks they inspected in the past 15 days. So then they're going to go target look for whatever A is, and they might miss something else. Or you might have officers that say, hey, that line back there is sort of dangled, sort of dangling. Can you put that up and secure that? I'm not going to mark you on it. It's just a little line, maybe you didn't see it. Maybe it got knocked down while you were traveling, something out of a trailer, or a wire or something. If you'll, tie that up, I'll get you an inspection. They're not out. Some of these guys are not out here to jerk us around and cause us problems. And then you got guys that are really the other side of the coin, and
But
that's
Bill,
where I'm at.
The
Those are usually the West Coast guys, right?
This whole thing with the inspections. I mean, if you think about it, back right after the pandemic, when the market was hot, you never heard one freaking broker ask for these inspections. When the freight is more than the trucks out there, you'll never hear them ask for it. When the trucks overload the freight, that's how they limit who they're going to work with. It's just, all right, well, listen, we're not even going to deal with you, and it just saves them the hassle of having to work with somebody that they don't want to work with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bill, question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your CSA page on FMCSA's website, can you get the score there?
For your safety, for your inspection score?
Yeah, I see mine. I see how many inspections I've had, how many I passed, how many were violations, no violation. I see all that shit here on my CSA page.
That's how I pull them up.
Yeah.
That's how you can pull up your CSA score, but your inspection score is a completely different thing. You have to ask for it when you go in to get inspected, and they may or may not tell you how to obtain it. I don't honestly remember how they obtain it, how you can obtain it. I can call and find out, but it's been so long. I mean, I got stopped in North Carolina, and the guy's like, how do you have such a low inspection score? And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And Richard Wilson, it was on our show years ago. He talked about it a lot. And the guy showed me, and I was like, what are you talking about? They got two screens right in front of them when you go through the scale. And one shows your inspection score. So it's either like a green, a yellow, or a red. And depending upon, you may get a yellow all the time. There's a carrier in Missouri who keeps getting pulled in, and he kept asking why, and he didn't understand. And I said, well, here's your reason. And I went over his record with him. He's like, well, you know how drivers are. I was like, well, that's why you're getting inspected. You got to pull these guys up, man. I got a good friend who lives in Wisconsin, and he went off the other night on Messenger about some of the drivers. They don't care. They don't care about his inspection score. They'll leave, go somewhere else, and then him as a carrier, he's holding that bad score, so they're getting pulled in more. It's crazy.
He can actually
You know-
fight those, Bill. He can actually fight those through data Q.
I know.
Yeah, right. That's what they tell you, Shane.
I've actually, believe it or not, I've actually fought 2 of them and got them removed.
You
but
need
hang
to
on.
start a business
But-
because Data Q is full of shit.
No, I know.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question.
You need to do that
When
for
you-
money because go ahead, Bill.
When you fought those 2, did you go back and check the record of what the state says? Because there was a while ago, and I don't remember what year it was, but a whole bunch of people filed data queues. They got it dismissed, okay? And the court dismissed it or whatever, dropped it to a lower charge. But it still, the state did not. And then the FMCSA came back and they put it back on your record, so it stayed there.
Oh hell no!
For 3 years.
I made sure that I provided all documentation to the state so that it was removed as well. So,
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Because just because you get the data queue on your side does not mean that the state nor the FMCSA is gonna side with what the court said. You know, you have to double check it and make sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You
Whoever
you
made that
don't trust
comment-
any government entities. That's first off. So
Whoever made that comment about Washington, I totally agree. The cops in Washington are off the hook. I've had multiple run-ins with them. Just incredible. Just amazing the hard-ons those guys are as soon as you come into Washington. It's like, welcome to Washington. F you, get the F out of the truck. Let me see your paperwork. Just absolutely horrible. This is a post that is in my LinkedIn that just came, that I just found in LinkedIn. You guys recognize this guy, Reed, whatever the hell his last name is. He's always in the Twitter spaces with us. Typical freight brokerage parking lot.
G-Wagons.
Yeah, you see? And they wonder why we call them scumbags, right? Like every chance you get, you know what I mean? They wonder why we call them scumbags. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, most of your mega brokers, I mean, they're going to the colleges. They're pulling guys that have computer degrees. They don't know anything about trucking, and I'm speaking specifically of TQL right now.
Right.
And they go in, they offer them a job. They tell them, all right, listen, this is the percentage that you have to get. You know, you have to present this rate below this. And if you anything below that, you get to pocket the difference. So these guys don't have a clue about anything. And the thing with TQL right now is they're doing a lot of they're actually subcontracting a lot of dispatch companies to act as brokerage agents for them.
Well, they're all doing that.
I've seen that. TQL is notorious for it, though.
Do you see TQL? Did you see TQL looking for people to move to Mexico, and they're offering to pay for their relocation costs to get them to operate out of
What are they
Mexico?
going to put them in a shack? I
Yeah,
wouldn't trust.
there's a bunch of them doing that.
So,
There's a bunch of them doing that.
Back to what Bill was saying about different states doing different inspections. New Jersey's real bad about doing emissions inspections, and if you don't pass it, they will fail you and put you out of service right there on the spot.
You know, I don't.
Yeah,
get
like
much
the
shit
Bay
out of the
Bridge.
cops in New Jersey.
If you go across 301 and the Bay Bridge and you're coming back from the Bay onto the mainland over there in Maryland on was it 5301? There was years that they were known for looking for slack adjusters.
Right.
So that's what they were concentrating on. You know.
The cops in New Jersey are cool to me.
Upstate New York on 687, they pulled me in. They found it was an older trailer. I was hauling hazmat, and they found that the bolt on the air tank had a 16th movement, 16th of an inch of movement in that bolt, and they wrote me for it.
You know, I don't get a lot of problems from the cops in New Jersey or New York, Pennsylvania. It's only when I go out past that I start to have issues.
Well, Pennsylvania,
East
you
Coast-
gotta watch I-80 coming out of the Water Gap. If you're hauling any type of dump or garbage refuse, they got a guy out there. He'll write no less than 20 tickets every time he inspects them.
Maine, I get massive problems, bro. Maine and Massachusetts. For some reason, I have massive. What number is that, Shane? Is that 6 or 5?
Hey! I plead the fifth. I don't count, brother.
I usually cut the show down, close the show down after 6. So, Bill, anything else you want to add, brother?
Oh no, there was something, but I completely forgot. It left my brain.
I know. I hear you. I'm trying to get Billy Randall on the show. Any input on what TMJ and Billy Randall is up to there, Bill?
Some of the members went over to Mexico for the strike that they're trying. I don't know where that is, but hey,
he told
more
me about
power
that
to them.
last week. Yeah, he told me they were doing that last week, so I already knew about the strike in Mexico.
Yeah.
Any word on the Canada thing?
Not that I know of. I haven't. They're going to do something. They're going to try to do something in the city. I think at the UN. I'm not 100% sure. He sent me some message about it today, so we got to work on that. But we talked to him about the thing on the 13th down in DC, and maybe some action of an idea of sort of the same thing that TIA is doing, maybe hosting a meeting or something like that, and inviting the congressman, combining it maybe with another event that's happening in DC on the 4th. I'm not sure how that would plan out or not, but that might be an option since you have all those trucks there already. Usually, what time does a show normally start, Mike?
Where in DC?
No, this show that we're on now. What time does it normally start? Yeah.
I usually get it started whenever Chris is ready.
Whatever.
8 o'clock.
I'm always waiting on you.
8 o'clock.
Okay.
8:30.
Well, you might be able to get him on. I'll mention it to him sometime tomorrow. We'll try to get on there. Get him on, and I think it would be a good idea, especially people who believe in the quote unquote militant way of doing things. As you know, we had 75 people there in May, so it may grow. The fact that those guys working for Halliburton stood up to them, that was a good move. Even if you get 10 guys, it's a start. The last one that was a really big one decades ago started with one man. These things can grow. So, these guys that say that these things don't work, I had a guy telling it didn't work. It was in the group today. And I told him 2 or 3 times, I said, listen, we're trying to change things. We're trying to move things in the right direction. And if all you keep saying is this doesn't work or that doesn't work, and he said, none of this stuff ever works. And I said, well, Steve, this is how we got the fuel surcharge. But what do you want us to do? Stop trying? We've got to try to improve things, because it's like what Ernie said on Twitter. All the middle-aged white guys are leaving. And I said, well, dude, can you blame us? Middle age isn't up in the 50s, but that's where most of us are, up in the 50s. And guys are just getting turned off and just don't want to do it anymore. It has absolutely nothing to do
on our backs, man.
Yeah. It's
why
we
are
got
you
in
gonna
this.
do something where you're not making any money, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you're killing yourself. As you get older, this shit hurts. Like
Yeah.
it's not easy getting in and out of trucks and sleeping in an uncomfortable bunk and dealing with cold weather and trucks. Yo, as you get older, the shit hurts, and you got to get paid what you got to get paid, bro. You can't be doing loads for $400, man. Driving
No, it's
600
nuts.
miles.
You guys,
I mean,
you guys
that's
talking
nuts.
about that Mexico strike down there? Down in Laredo, down behind the Target, there's a big cross dock down there. J.O. Alvarez. I used to pull out of there all the time, and that's one of the major hubs for the stuff that comes out of Mexico coming into the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane, I think you're on brew number 6 with that comment. I definitely know that's brew number 6 now. We got someone who just joined us. Joe, we're closing it down, bro. We're giving Bill the floor. But thank you for joining us. Chris, Blake says Idaho's port of entry will even schedule an appointment for one if you want one LOL inspection.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are just the goods in Idaho.
So I wanna bring something up. So I was down in Denver. And this was last fall. And a broker called me on the load. Called me up. And wanted me to move a load, and he's like, "You don't have any inspections." I'm like, "Yeah," because they've never pulled me in for one. And he's like, "Well, can you go to Fort Collins and get an inspection?" I said, "What the hell for?" "Oh, so you could haul this load for me." I'm like, what, hold up. So, what are you trying to offer? Now, I can't remember where it was going. I don't think it was very far, but it was less than $2 a mile. Last fall, when fuel was over $5 a gallon, out in Colorado, and I told them, "Okay, so you expect me to go to Fort Collins to get ask for an inspection at $1.75 a mile?"
For what?
Exactly what I told them. I told them, why would I do that? Why would I go in to get an inspection when you guys aren't even covering for the maintenance? You're barely covering the fuel.
I would have hung up on him, bro. I wouldn't even have continued the conversation. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, I wanted to get my point across to him, and after I got my point across to him, I hung up on him.
Because you're talking to an idiot. Actually, yeah, that right there is a moron. You don't even speak to them. Chris,
speaking of idiots.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill. I'm sure you
remember my point now.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I picked up a load for a new broker today, and I called one of the guys that I've known for a little bit because he does reefer, and I used to do it when my brother was alive, my younger brother. God rest his soul. But anyways, so we're talking, and I said, "So what are you finding that the guys are dispatching you at? Because this load that I'm on is a little bit tight." And I said, I've already unloaded this morning, so I don't have a full clock. And I said, I seem to run into this, a little bit often where the brokers don't understand that you need a full clock to run either 10 or 11 hours. And it seems like they want you to run hammer down the whole time for 11 hours straight. And I'm like, this rate doesn't pay enough to do that because you're burning everything up. You're burning up tires. You're burning up brakes. You're burning up fuel. You're burning up yourself. All right. So I said, because I had this other broker called me, and I said, just don't even get me started. And she started laughing. She said, tell me about it. I said, okay. I said, so they go to college. All right. Let's just say they go to college, like the one that one company that we're boycotting brags about out there in where the fuck is it?
Ohio.
No.
Ohio.
Okay. We'll say Ohio. Anyways, so they all go to college, and it seems like, and what I told her was, it seems like once they graduate, they completely forget everything that they've been taught. Because I'm wondering at what speed do they dispatch these trucks? And so my other guy says, well, if you're doing 650 miles, that's 10 hours at 65 miles an hour. I said, please tell me where you can average this from Texas going east all the time. I said, you can't. It's physically impossible. And this is where a lot of drivers get mad and they laugh and they say, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, if you go and you average your speed, like on some of the newer trucks, you can actually average your speed on the dash display. And guys need to start doing this because you're not doing 65 all the time. There's no way. So I'm sitting there going, do these guys even understand? And this is not, people have been blaming the ELD for the speeding. But I'm sitting here telling you that these guys are dispatching the trucks too fast. There's no way you're going to make it. Because my buddy says, well, it gives you an hour either way. I'm like, an hour? An hour. You've got to have a half-hour break in there. And then what if something happens? Then you're playing catch-up all day long. And you're taking risks to satisfy these brokers and these customers. It should be
to repower the load and take a loss.
No. They need to. One of the guys said something. I said, we need to work better with each other, not just the brokers or the freight forwarders, the 3PL people just demanding. How does a broker make an appointment for you to pick? First of all, how does a broker make an appointment for you to pick up when he doesn't even know how many hours you got left for the day? And then assign you a delivery time on top of that pickup time when he doesn't even know how many hours you have left for the day, much less how many hours you have left for the week, much less anything else about the schedule that you've already had for the day itself.
Well, what's even better is when they detain you at the pickup, they detain you 2, 3, 4 hours, and then they still expect you to make the delivery appointment on time, or they're going to penalize you for it.
Right.
Oh, I've had that happen where I got held up 13 hours, and they still expected me to be there on time. They tried to penalize me, and I told the broker straight out, I was held up at the shipper. It was at Maricold in Utah, in Salt Lake. I was held up for 13 hours.
That's crazy, man. 13 hours, you better be giving me a different rate com before I even load that truck.
Bill.
Yes.
Blake says, I think the youngsters look at MapQuest time, thinking that's what a semi travels at.
Yeah,
they use
I agree with her.
Atlas, and they say it's only an inch away.
I had a guy tell me
it looks real close on the map.
I had a guy tell me going from Ohio to North Carolina over there on the eastern shore of North Carolina is 600 and some odd miles. And he said, that's 8 hours. I said, how is that? I said, you're going up and down the hills in Ohio. You got to go through the slow lanes over there on 35, and then you're up and down through the hills in West Virginia, and North Carolina, and then you got to go through Durham. You got to go through you got to go through Winston-Salem in the morning, and then Greensboro in the morning, and then you can, or you go down 421, but that's still jammed up. So you got that side of Raleigh, and then you got Greenville that's all jammed up. So how are you going to do that in 8 hours? And the response I got back was crickets. I said, thank you for the load, but no, that's not me.
You should plan better, driver. That's what they tell you. You should plan better.
Shit.
You ever get out that way, man, hit me up, brother, because that's where I'm at over in eastern North Carolina.
Bill.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Just outside of Wilmington, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Bill's in North Carolina too, Shane.
Yeah.
Leland.
Bill Blake says exactly 100 to what you just said, sir. In any case, I think we've been on for almost 3 hours once again.
So much for that hour show there, Mike.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris, you're becoming my Ed McMahon. You were supposed to stop the show like an hour in, 2 hours over our cutoff time.
Hey, I told you from the I told you from the beginning. Good luck with that hour.
Chris, I can see you're young because you missed that Ed McMahon thing, didn't you? Shane laughed, but you just looked at me like,
No,
who the
I know
fuck
who
is
Ed McMahon is, but like I said, I'm 44. I'll be 44 next month, so I ain't that young.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
Kids, you kids.
Damn, I wish I was 44. I remember when I was. Let me see.
Didn't hurt as bad back then, right?
God,
Yeah,
no.
a long time ago, man. I was
So where
still
you based
young,
out
man.
of, Bill?
Do what now?
Where are you out of?
Near Greensboro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're gonna be back again tomorrow, man. So every night, 8:00, 8:30, whatever. If you want to start early, just text me. We could start early. I just got to make sure the kids eat and do their homework and take baths and get to bed, and we could start the show. Thanks everybody for coming on. Final words. I'm gonna start with you, Chris. Go ahead. All right.
I'm good.
All right. Thank you. Tomorrow.
Man of many words.
There you go. Shane.
Listen, man, tonight was it was a show all around, man, with MAGA Mission, talking about the wind turbines, talking about trucking. So I mean, it's the platform's actually spreading. It's nice. I appreciate you all including me and allowing me to be a part of it. So, look forward to seeing you here in the next few days, man.
Yeah, Shane, before we bounce, man, let everybody know what you do and what your affiliation is with the association.
I've been in trucking for 30 plus years. Trying to make do my part in spreading education and knowledge. I own a dispatch company. I own a freight brokerage. I also own a driver recruiting and equipment recovery company. So, Load for You One is the dispatch company. Freight Medic Logistics is the brokerage. DR911 is the driver recruiting and basic equipment recovery. We don't go repoing trucks. Basically, if a carrier has a driver out there that's either abandoned their truck or has had medical issues, we send one of our team out to go get it for them. So, aside from that, been doing trucking consulting for 5 years, trying to assist in keeping guys away from the predatory service providers. So, found a home here with Noah, and very happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
And love the whole premise of it, and look to be here for a long time coming, man.
And Shane, you do have a dispatcher training program.
Yes, I do. Correct? Yes, FML Masterclass Training Program. It's a online dispatch training program, basically designed for someone that has absolutely no history in the industry, or someone that has history in the industry. Continued online support after that. Anybody takes the course and they got any questions going forward, they get in, they start dispatching, they get into a jam, they're more than welcome to call me anytime afterwards. And it's also authorized by NOAA, same with our dispatch program. So if anybody needs to contact me, Shane Mick on Facebook. So
absolutely. Thank you, Shane. I saw your dispatcher training program, and I personally think it's excellent. It's very professionally done. Anybody want any information on that, you can contact the dispatcher division at the association, www.tnooa.com, www.tnooa.com. Billy Mack.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I always big up good people and good programs where people can actually learn and gain knowledge and use to make money. And I saw the program. I recommend it. I did the same thing.
We're working
with
on
the
adding
broker
one to
training
it
course.
for how to start a trucking company as well. It's a little bit more entailed. There's a lot going into it, so that's going to be a little while coming, but it's actually in the works as well.
Hey,
Nice.
just don't charge $9,000 for it like that guy.
No, not at all, man. No.
Alex is a guy on Alex My Mother Trucker. The guy's charging like $9,000 for
Now,
how to
listen,
start a trucking
anybody
company.
that wants to do the dispatch training program,
Go buy a truck.
if they're affiliated with NOAA, if they're a member of NOAA, they get a discount. Or if they're affiliated with the Truckers Affiliate Program, they also get a discount.
Right.
Listen, I'm not here to get rich off the stuff. You know Justin Kleiber. I've worked with him. I was his first affiliate. Listen, man, I'm not out here to try and beat people over the head, man. I'm here to try and spread education, knowledge, and help this industry, man. I mean, it's from when I was a kid. You'd see, you'd be broke down on the side of the road, man, as a kid, or with your parents, your grandparents. Truck driver would be the first one to call for help or stop and help you. Now you break down in that same spot. If there's a mud puddle, your ass better not be out there looking at the truck or the car or whatever's broke down, because they're going to drench you, because they don't have enough knowledge in the industry and they're chasing paper all day long. They're being hit with every predatory service that's available to them. Everybody's trying to take money out of their pocket. If I can assist in preventing that from happening and make it a little bit more fluid for them, then absolutely 100% I'm going to do everything I can.
Yep,
Absolutely.
they're chasing the clock.
And you want to know something, man? I tell people about your dispatcher training course, and I remember when I first started telling people about the broker training course that we have, and Raphael was not getting many responses. He was getting like maybe one or two people in the class, and then he actually a few times, and I think Chris can attest to this, guys booked contracts, guys closed contracts and deals during the live broadcast of the course.
Oh, I'm in that course. I'm in that
cold
course.
call. And now everybody's like, oh, I need to sign up to this course. I need to sign up to this course. It's like, I'm telling you that we have these things at the National Owner Operators Association that can help you. And it's like, crickets, like it's there.
And listen, the NOAA offers the freight guard and the collections issue. That right now is its hot topic, but there's so much more that's offered to it. You know what I mean?
Blake just gave me some information I didn't know today. Raphael had 21 people.
Yes, he did.
Actually, training course.
Yep.
Actually, it was 22, but one dropped out before he did the count.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave that one right there. You know what, Bill? Bill, we're gonna let you close it out, brother. Bill, tell everybody what you do and who you are, because I get a lot of questions about. I'm gonna read this one today about you.
Okay.
Bill. Hang in there. This one was from Caitlin, who is the president of the dispatcher division. She says, "Who the hell is this guy, Bill?" I said, Bill who? Bill. I said, Mac? She said, his real name, his first and his last name. And she puts McKelvey with a question mark. And I said, yes. And she's actually researching you for an article that she's doing. And so everything that you've ever written down is probably going to be in an article somewhere against your will. But you have fans, sir.
Hey, that one she
Okay.
wrote about you, Mike, was on spot, man. That was nice.
I read that. No one reposted it, but I did read it.
I
and,
reposted it.
I didn't even repost it, bro. I got it. It was actually, that wasn't about me only. That was about everybody, I think.
Right.
But Bill, tell everybody what you do. I know you've been doing this for a while, and you're an advocate, man. But you're like you do your own thing. Tell everybody what you do.
I don't really know what to say. I've been going to DC since early 2000. The thing that kicked it off.
Hey, Chris, Bill is speechless. We got him.
Finally.
Yeah,
He's finally speechless for once.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things for guys like me is to tell about yourself, because it's really not. It's not about yourself for guys like me. In fact, the interview at OIDA was tell us about yourself and what makes you think you're a better advocate than others. And I was like, what?
Exactly.
So-
No, I hear you, man. It's like I like you, Bill, and I like your style, and I think it takes guys like you that are knowledgeable and come armed with facts, not just screaming and yelling problems in someone's face, but solutions. And it takes guys like you who understand that and that get things done. And I think we need more people in this movement like Bill McKelvey. And I think a lot of people should listen to you because you have been doing this for a long time and you are very knowledgeable. And I want everybody to know that actually Bill was the person who got all of the associations together and aligned us. I know everybody keeps saying no. We were there. Bill approached us with the idea, and first I barked on him about it. I didn't want it. No, why? They don't want to deal with us, so why should we? But that's childish. And I thought about it, and I went back to Bill and I said, Bill, you remember what you said about aligning all of the associates? Yeah. You know how his voice is. Yeah. Bill, cough, cough. Bill, you think you can go back to these guys and try to get them together? Let's see if we can get them. And he did. And the toughest one, I ain't going to say the word. The hardest one was James, right? James Lamb. Outside of OIDA and ATA, he's the biggest one, right? And he was the toughest one. And James kind of hated my guts. So I couldn't really approach James. So Bill went to him, and Bill got him to agree to talk to me. And we talked, and next thing you know, everyone just started joining up. And we still have people joining up today. And we've got associations in other countries joining this alliance. And truthfully, it was all because of Bill. So
hey, Mike, have you ever put a list out of all these associations that are linking up together?
No, because I'm not the head of it. What's his name? Bill John.
John Grobner. Yeah, John.
You got to talk to John. John is managing the alliance. I'm just a member, bro. Noah's just a member. We're a soldier. We're not running this thing.
Well, I can't take all credit for it. A lot of us have been trying to work together for many, many years. And John and I have been talking about this for a while. And John's more on the legislative side of drawing up documents and stuff like that. And he has the time to do that. I don't have the time to do that. But I've got a horrible echo. Is that on your guys' side too, or just mine?
That is just on yours. I don't have an echo.
No, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it too.
Maybe it's my speaker. Let me my speaker is kind of loud. Let me it might be me. Is that better?
I think so. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
It is. Let me, you know what? Let me lower this down. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I don't
Is
know.
that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. We're about to close the show out, but before I do, I want to acknowledge Blake Alvarez Foss. She is a member of the association, a very strong supporter and an ally, important ally. And Blake Alvarez Foss, I'm sorry, I like to say names in full, put a post out there that everyone should take a look at. And I'm saying this because it's very important. It's in the Facebook group. It's also on Twitter as well. Chris, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, here it is. It was posted on the 25th of August at 3:05. I reposted it. It was created by Blake Alvarez Foss. It is a document that you can click on. You go to the document, you look for your state, and there you could find your senator, state senators, and congressmen, and your representatives in Washington. Then you scroll down to the middle, and you find a pre-written letter with pretty much all of our issues already written up. And all you have to do is type your name in there, sign it, and send it to your state and federal representatives down in Washington. Blake Alvarez Foss is also working on a few other projects for the association. I do not have contact information for her. I don't know if she wants to be contacted directly, but hold on. That is the document. I don't know who posted that up there, but that is the document. I don't know if you can copy and paste that from here, but that is the document. And listen, she's working on a lot of other things, and I just wanted to big up Blake Alvarez Foss. She is in Idaho, and she is a supporter and very knowledgeable, and we appreciate all of our hard work and effort. So big up to Blake Alvarez Foss, and if you happen to bump into her, say hello and thank you.
She's actually coming up with the shippers list too.
Cool.
She's already shared some of it with me and Mike.
ADD.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 3:04, 3 hours and 3 hours and 4 minutes and 22 seconds. I think that might be a record. What do you guys say we pack it up until tomorrow? I appreciate you guys being on. I will definitely be more prepared tomorrow, and I will have more content to go over tomorrow. Today was a very busy day, so I didn't really get a chance to put anything together.
No, I think we went over quite a bit. I mean,
exactly.
Bill,
with John coming on and Bill coming on, it added more to it.
Absolutely.
I agree. Bill, anything else you want to add before we close the show out?
Not that I can think of. I mean, we covered all the stuff about the brokers. Tomorrow I can talk about the guy who had a contract that this great relationships mantra was just easily be debunked. I keep putting up more and more articles where great relationships have, just completely ended. More companies. There was one today that I saw where it said Warren. A company had gone through the Warren, but they were shutting down. So all these people are out of jobs. But I'm pretty sure they thought that they had great relationships too.
Actually, there was one out by you, I believe, the furniture company.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
listen, it was good meeting you, Bill.
Same here. Thank you.
All righty. I think we covered a lot of ground tonight. Let's pack it up. We've been doing this 3 hours. It's 11:30. Bill's on the road. everybody's tired. Get some rest, and we'll be back at it tomorrow, 8 p.m. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm gonna shut it down. Thank you.
All right.
Take care,
Thanks,
brother.
Mark.
Have a good night, man.
See you
All right,
soon, Bill.
You got it.
Be safe,
All right.
Bill. Take care,
All right.
Chris.
Yeah.
So long.